postseason.
Gwynn and Chris are ready to go.
Now the 1-1. Came in and hit him. Maybe got the bat. Either way, he is down, and the Padre bench is hot. Mike Shildt is particularly hot. He is running out of the dugout, pointing at the Dodger dugout. Arise, meanwhile, coming to check on Tatis with Shildt and head athletic trainer Mark Rogo in tow. Now Dave Roberts is coming out of the third base dugout. He and Mike Shildt are going to go face to face, and both benches will empty. Roberts just pushed Shildt. Roberts pushed Shildt. The umpires and some of the coaches trying to get between the two managers. Shildt and Roberts are now up against the backstop.
Oh, yes, indeed. And welcome with that backdrop into today's version of Gwynn and Chris. It is finally a Friday, and we welcome you in to the Gwynn and Chris program here on San Diego's #1 sports talk station, 97.3 The Fan. Chris Ello, Matt Skraby, together today in our Odyssey Palace studios. Tony Gwynn Jr. had a scheduled day off. Well, I'm pretty sure I know what everybody wants to talk about, Skraby, today. So why don't I go first?
Oh, Deebo Samuel's too slow?
How about Xander Bogaerts? 5 consecutive hits, including a home run and a couple of doubles.
I felt good for him last night.
Isn't that what people are excited about today?
Oh, no. The response, Chris, is, well, finally he's earning his salary.
I know. They can still be negative no matter what when it comes to
I mean, he has
Xander.
to keep it going, but it was nice to see him go 5 for 5 in his last 5 at-bats, including Wednesday night.
He had a huge hit in the game on Wednesday night, and he had 4 of them in the game last night. So, yes, that was a bright spot to be sure. Well, I think it's pretty clear, Skraby, after what you just heard Jesse Agler and Mark Grant describe, that the Dodger-Padre rivalry has reached yet another level of rivalry. You know, I mean, look, Tony's been saying it all year. Straight up, the best rivalry in baseball right now is not Red Sox-Yankees. It's not Dodgers-Giants. Not Cubs-Cardinals. It's this one. This is the best one. Not only are the two teams good, not only have they faced each other twice in the last 3 years in the postseason and played exciting series both times, splitting them, not only are the two cities and their fans separated by only 90 or so miles, maybe 100, but it's pretty clear that the teams absolutely, positively now hate each other. And that's it, man. That's what makes it. That's what makes the rivalry. The Padres hate the Dodgers, and hate is a really strong word, but it's fun to be able to use in this context. The Padres hate the Dodgers. Will Smith notwithstanding, I'm pretty sure the Dodgers hate the Padres. And if none of that part is true, then certainly the Padres and their fans hate Dave Roberts. He is now public enemy numero uno. And Dave, no way, no longer can you cash in the, well, grew up in San Diego, played for the Padres, went to Rancho Buena, doesn't matter anymore. Dave Roberts is the all-time numero uno villain in the minds of Padre fans. And Mike Shildt, if he wasn't our hero before, he is now.
What I love about Mike Shildt is that he's got a fire in him that just makes me feel good about
him
defending the Padres.
He did exactly what every one of us would have wanted to do if we were there. And Tony said it on the broadcast, on the television side. A lot of people have said this as well, but I'm agreeing with them. And Mike Shildt said it in his post-game press conference. Whether the rookie jittery pitcher of the Dodgers, what's his name? Little, I think.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Little.
Whether Mr. Chicken Little threw at Tatis on purpose or not.
I think he got caught up in the storm, really.
Whether Dave Roberts ordered it or not, whether it was intentional or not, does not matter. It just doesn't matter this time. Fernando Tatis Jr. has never been hit more than 4 times by any other team. 6 times by the Dodgers, though.
Yeah.
And 3 of those in the last 7 days. And as Mike Schilt correctly pointed out, those weren't the only inside pitches.
No.
There were several that missed him.
Yeah.
That he spun out of the way of. Now, Fernando,
he can do a little bit of a dance.
he puts a little bit of a dance into it.
But now we know why.
But he also doesn't really want to get hit, and I don't blame him. And it's clear Bob Scanlon was on point last night. Bob, if you're out there, well done. Analysis after the game, solid. But if you are going to pitch high and tight to Fernando, and it's pretty clear the Dodgers are doing that now. Other teams pitch inside to Fernando, but they don't pitch high and in. Okay? Belt and inside, low and inside is one thing. When you start coming up around the neck, the head, the helmet, the face, where the hands are, which is where he got hit last night, you are messing with a guy's career there. And the Dodgers should be called out for it. And Mike Schilt called a spade a spade. He came out. He goes, look at I don't know what he was yelling across originally at Dave Roberts. It doesn't matter. I know what he was saying, though. And what he's saying is, I don't care whether this was intentional. It doesn't matter anymore. Balls keep hitting my best player, or one of my best players, one of the best players in baseball. This has got to stop.
Yep.
And Dave Roberts' reaction to it, I think at first, was what any other manager on the other team would and should do, which is come out and defend your part of the turf, okay? But when you go and you make contact and you push and you can't control yourself after that, and you start screaming, you wait. Well, first of all, you wait till 15 people get in between you.
Yeah, and then you retreat.
And then you start yelling over the top of it and waving.
And you know
your
what
arms.
Mike Schilt did? Get out of my way. I'm getting you, Dave.
Mike Schilt was trying to throw people out of the way, right? Dave Roberts was hiding behind people.
It gives me chills what Mike Schilt did last night.
It was awesome. And Dave Roberts did, what a lot of instigators do.
Run.
They push and run. And he pushed and he ran behind everybody, and then it got good to him again, and he started yelling. So look, Dave, who else on this show or on this station has ever even stuck up for Dave Roberts at all? I have. But it's hard and harder to do after what happened last night. And there's a few other things that were brought up that are on point here. Number one, Kurt Bavacqua, whose hatred for the Dodgers, by the way, goes back to before you were born, Skraby,
I'm sure,
and before
does.
most of you were born, when Tommy Lasorda, the then Dodger manager, said, and I quote, "Why would we want to hit Bavacqua? He can't hit water if he fell out of a boat."
Oh, man, that's pretty bad.
There was a pretty big dig by Lasorda. Believe me, Kurt Bavacqua never forgot it.
Still hasn't forgot it.
Kurt Bavacqua was on point with his tweet last night. And here's what he wrote. Here's what happened in the Padres-Dodger game. 8th inning, and the Dodgers are pinch hitting for Betts, Smith, and Freeman, only behind 5-0. I'm sitting there thinking, that's weird. 9th inning, they hit Tatis, and then finishes Bavacqua. Roberts took them out of the game purposely in case of a fight. I don't know that you could ever prove that incorrect. Why did those guys come out of the game in the bottom of the 8th inning in a 5-0 score? Look, the Dodgers almost won the game in the 9th inning without those guys. So why were they not in there in the 8th inning with still a good, a chance to win the game? He took them all out ahead of this. This, to me, something that he pushed the envelope. Now, look, Jerry Hairston Jr.'s online. He's sticking up for the Dodgers. He works for the Dodgers. Dave Roberts is never going to admit, straight up anything. But again, this discussion is not about whether they were intentionally did it. You can believe what you want. You're never going to know the answer 100% because there's only a couple people who really know the answer.
Dave Roberts, the pitcher,
maybe the catcher. A couple
Will
coaches.
Smith. I mean, he probably was the one who
Will Smith
called
wasn't
for
catching.
It.
No,
you're right. Dalton Rushing.
They had
was.
a rookie catching.
That's right. They pinch hit for Will Smith late in the game.
Will Smith was Will Smith. Anyway, right. Rushing. Oh no, what? You're right. Rushing caught the game before. My bad.
Yeah, but he did go in last night.
He did go in later in the game. That's my point being. There's a few people who know the true answer, but it doesn't matter because Fernando cannot keep getting hit and thrown at like that, and you have to do something about it. And I don't even think. I'm sure there's a ton of Dodger fans. I don't want to say a ton. I'm sure there's many Dodger fans who are out there. They're curious what we're thinking and saying here in San Diego, or Dodger fans who just live here.
They're in my.
And I'm
Twitter
sure they're
mentions.
all in the chat or in your messages.
Oh yeah,
now.
Dodgers fans, Chris, are like, "Hey, the Padres started it by hitting Pajes."
This is not us against them. This is not about that. This is about facts, and the facts being that the Dodgers have not only hit one of the best players in the league 3 times in the last 9 days, intentionally or otherwise, but they continue to throw him up and in. And even when they don't hit him, they almost hit him. This has got to stop. The Padres had to do something. This is not about who's right or who's wrong. This is about facts and what happened. And, did the Dodgers take these guys out in the 8th inning because they knew something might happen in the 9th? Did the kid get jittery up there and just miss his pitch? Did Robert Suarez really retaliate and intentionally put the tying run up to the plate in a game that the Padres absolutely had to win? I don't even want to get to the other part of it. If I always call him that. If Yuki Matsui gives up a 3-run homer there in the bottom of the 9th after he replaces Suarez and the Padres lose that game last night, I say season's over. Like, you could not lose that game last night and get a 4-game sweep and blow a 5-0 lead in the bottom of the 9th. But they were 1 or 2 pitches away from that happening. So there's a lot to unpack. I really don't hate anyone. I think everybody did what they had to do, felt what they had to do. I love Mike Schilt for what he did. I get what Dave Roberts did to protect his side of the field until he pushed and ran, because I'm just not a fan of that from anybody, whether it's the Dodger manager or whoever. The bottom line, this is something that has to be stopped, and the Padres are doing their best to try and do that.
On the other side, I want to bring up something about Dave Roberts that is a pattern at this point.
Okay.
So
we'll get into that. There's a lot more to discuss here. The Padres did win the game. That ultimately was pretty important. The other part that's important, we don't have any answer yet definitively on the potential injury status of Fernando Tatis Jr.
I'm looking for it.
That could be big as well. As soon as we know, we'll let you know. Gwynn and Chris is underway. Jesse Agler, who called the game, will be on the program in a little while to get his thoughts. Trenton Brooks, who homered in the series, the San Diegan from Granite Hills High, is our Friar Friday guest. Can't wait. Let's keep going on Gwynn and Chris. August 22nd Dodger Padre game. Skraby, you want to sell them so we can take a cruise somewhere?
Yes.
No kidding, right? I don't have tickets, but can you? I mean, that game's going to be a ticket in demand, I believe. And down here, now the Padres and Dodgers play each other up there on August 15th, which is the Friday before the teams come back here. And then that's it. You know, and don't get me started on baseball's stupid schedule. But these kinds of conflicts don't happen when the Padres play the Royals because no one cares that much. This is why these games need to be scheduled more. This is great for baseball. You know, is it the look you're always after? Not necessarily, but we want to see teams compete. Do we not?
I do.
And I mean, if they're not competing now, I don't know what we got to see.
I think that Dave Roberts.
Yes.
I was talking about a pattern before we went to break.
Right.
But I don't know I'm sure it's happened in the last like 5 years, but I can't remember any other incidents where a manager has pushed another manager. And Dave Roberts has done that twice to two different Padres managers. He pushed Andy Green, and then he pushed Mike Schilt last night. Like Dave Roberts needs to get a grip on himself. And you know what tells me that was intentional? People who know they're in the wrong go over the top in defense. If you know that it was unintentional, Dave Roberts would have calmly walked out of that dugout and been like, you know what? You're right. We didn't want to hit him. No, Dave Roberts came out and he pushed Mike Schilt because he was trying to cover up the lie.
But look, and I'm pretty sure, I'm almost 100% sure that Suarez retaliated as well.
I am too.
But I don't.
And I think he did that on his own.
But again, I don't think it matters. That's not the issue here to me. The issue is that Fernando keeps getting hit, and something has to be done to stop it.
And now he might be seriously hurt. We don't know yet.
He could be seriously hurt. We don't know. Secondly, the other issue is Dave Roberts coming out and laying his hands on the other team's manager, as you pointed out for a second time. What is baseball going to do about this? If anything.
They have to do something.
I know Padre fans are calling for a life suspension. Put him next to shoeless Joe Jackson. But Keith Olbermann tweeted out at least a month. You remember Keith Olbermann, the oldie, and I'm like, all right, this series has reached a month is way too long.
A month is way too long.
Way too long. But I think baseball needs to send a message to the Dodger manager that you can't come out and shove the other guy's manager. It's just not. That's not cool.
No.
You can have whatever arguments you want. I mean, how mad have we ever seen managers and or players get with umpires?
They get right in their face. They
lose their mind.
But they do not
touch. You're right. And if you touch,
that's when it turns it up.
You get suspended. So, hey, look, this, we're going to see what baseball does about this. I hope they do something, not necessarily because it's like the eye for an eye and I want Dave Roberts. It's not that. It's just that's the right thing to do here. That is the right thing to do here.
Do you think that they're going to have to suspend Robert Suarez then? I think they will.
For throwing at Ohtani in retaliation?
I think they will do that.
Well, I don't. Then they got it. Well, that's not a fair trade, but they have to suspend the other guy for the Dodgers. He threw at Fernando after both teams had been warned, right?
Yeah.
No, that's not right. They were warned after.
Everything got crazy.
It got so crazy. And so I'm trying to keep up. The night before, the Dodger guy threw at Iglesias 5 innings after they were warned. Remember, Manny was upset that they didn't eject that pitcher. And that's when Marvin Hudson, the same guy who home plate umpired last night, said to Mike Schilt, "Oh, he didn't do that intentionally, Mike." Remember, right. And I was like, how did he know? How do you know? I mean, none of us really know. We think we know, and we're probably right. But because, I love it, man. This is it. I mean, these two teams, I believe, and I hope, and so should the rest of baseball hope, are on another collision course for a postseason meeting. Because I'm telling you, those games are going to be can't miss, not just for us, but for any baseball fan in Ohio or South Carolina or wherever. This is the best rivalry in baseball, and it lived up to it. Now, the victory the Padres got last night, like I said, they had to have that. They couldn't afford to be swept 4, and certainly couldn't afford to be swept 4 by losing a 5-0 lead in the 9th inning. Yuki Matsui striking out, rushing there to end the game, might have been the biggest out of the whole season so far. Because remember, the runners moved into scoring position when the ball got trapped in Martin Maldonado's equipment, which is a rule that allows all the base runners to advance 1 base, a rule not many people know.
I didn't know it.
Well, I mean, look, I can understand that you're not allowed to use the equipment to trap the ball. I get it. But he didn't use his equipment. The ball bounced into his equipment. Anyway, they ruled the bet. Well, look, now all Dalton Rushing needed there was a sawed-off-the-bat bloop single, and it would have been 5-5. And I don't know where our season would have gone from there. So, thank goodness they got the win. They got out of there. To me, it doesn't make up for it. The Dodgers won 3 out of 4. They won the series. They stuck it to the Padres last week. They stuck it to them again this week. Will Smith is the Padres' daddy. Until they can get him out consistently, then he's their daddy, and we have to listen to his crap because we're not doing anything to shut him up. And Pajes all of a sudden is number 44, looking like another guy who used to wear number 44, Hank Aaron. So, look, if you would have told me before the 7 games that Ohtani, Betts, and Freeman wouldn't hit a single home run between them,
yeah,
I'd have told you the Padres are going to win at least 5 of those games.
The Padres held them in check the entire series.
But they didn't win them because the Dodger bottom of the lineup killed the Padres. Number 1, number 2, the Padre bullpen continues to stagger and stumble, and that has got to get squared away.
That does have to get squared away.
All right.
I would like to, just because I'm feeling it's Friday and I'm feeling a little frisky, there's Dodger fans in our chat. Like, here's one of them, Invisible Dodger fan, which is really funny because these people can't put their names on the actual statements.
Fine.
Padres have lost 5 out of 7 against the Dodgers. You guys just need a talking point. Might as well talk about how the Padres won't make the playoffs. Why? What kind of loser are you to just come into a Padres chat and continue to be like this? Like, Dodgers fans really, really bother me.
They can say what they want.
Everything that they do is okay, but everything everybody else does is not.
Yeah, but that's typical fans for everything. Everyone's going to stand behind their team and see it, through the rose-colored glasses of their side. What that fan is saying is true. They took 5 of 7. Bottom line, they got us right now. And that was what irks me even more because we have all of this controversy going on. And while it's all going on, the Dodgers are putting distance between them and the Padres in the standings. So that hurts. That hurts. That's the part of it that hurts. Now, Fernando is badly hurt. That's going to change the narrative just a little bit differently, and it's going to change it even more. But I'm going to hope that he's okay. I hope he doesn't miss more than a game or 2, if that, and the Padres can get back to work because they got work to do.
They do.
The Padres absolutely, positively have work to do.
Can I have one last thing on Dave Roberts, please?
Of course.
Before we move on from all of this, Dave Roberts is when your star player has more control over himself when he gets hit by a 100-mile-an-hour fastball. Shohei Ohtani telling the entire dugout, "We're good, stay there." Like that. You're, as a manager, you're supposed to be the parent. You're supposed to be the adult of the group. You're supposed to be the one calming people down. Like, that does not sit right with me. It really bothers me what Dave Roberts has done in the last 2 years to completely, like, I didn't really mind him before the whole sinister sling man, he threw a ball at me. But after that, it's like, man, you are just really making up stuff now. And it's outside of the realm of sportsmanship or gamesmanship. It's just jerkness.
I think you're talking a lot with your heart.
I am.
And that's okay because the passion is there for you.
I am.
Yeah, the passion's there for you. The passion's there for both sides of this rivalry. That's what makes it great. So I get it. People are talking with their heart. I'm trying to talk mostly, beyond the heart. And right now,
you're the calm one today.
Right now, we got to hope that Fernando's okay. Because if he's not, then this takes on a whole nother avenue. But beyond that, baseball, I believe, should, send a message to Dave Roberts. If they feel that's just fine. but suspensions are normally more warranted, at least for a game or two. You can't shove the other team's manager. And you're right. You got to keep some control because everybody else does. I mean, you can't tell me that Mike Schilt didn't want to go over and punch him.
Oh, I'm sure
Or
did.
You can't tell me that Mike Schilt didn't want to, Lou Piniella didn't want to beat up all those umpires and Earl Weaver. But you know what? They didn't. They didn't hit him. They didn't touch him.
That's just a rule.
Message needs to be sent there. And, but beyond that, I think both teams did what they needed to do. And now this rivalry is through the roof. I love it. I can't wait till, August 15th. And as Mike Schilt said, we'll be there.
Yes.
We got a couple more months of baseball to play, but we'll be there.
The one thing about baseball players is that they remember things. Kurt Bavacqua apparently remembers things that happened years and years and years ago.
Yeah, just don't mention water falling out of a boat to Bavacqua.
I will never.
'Cause if you ever do, you'll have to duck.
I will never.
All right, Gwynn and Chris, we're rolling. When we come back, we're going to take a little bit of a deep breath, but we're going to stay with the Padres. Trenton Brooks, who made his debut this week and homered in L.A. Tonight, the San Diego kid gets to play his first ever game at Petco Park. We visited with him. You'll get to hear that. Jesse Agler in the 3:00 hour. We heard Jesse's call earlier. I think we should play it for him again later because it was really good. And, of course, we'll get his thoughts on what happened last night as Gwynn and Chris rolls on toward Padre pregame show. Did we even mention that they're playing Kansas City tonight? See, because no one cares.
Yeah.
Back with more.
I mean, we had a day off yesterday. It doesn't even seem like it. It's just like, let's go.
We are.
Ben and Woods.
first home run in the big leagues. And Trenton Brooks, a pinch hit home run. 2-run shot at Dodger Stadium, and don't go anywhere. It's 8-5.
Trenton Brooks, he's going places. 29-year-old from Alpine, California,
with a perfect mustache for baseball.
Yes, I got to give myself a little credit. You'll hear our interview with Trenton in a minute.
Give yourself some credit.
Yes, because I didn't open with that. I normally go right to that stuff.
I was a little surprised.
But I didn't want to leave him, I didn't want to put him on the defensive with the mustache question, but he does have a hell of a mustache.
It fits him very well.
Trenton Brooks, first career home run the other night. Tonight, first time the hometown kid gets to play at Petco Park, and he's very excited by that. By the way, if you have any extra tickets for tonight's game, please send them to Trenton Brooks. He needs them because everyone he's ever met has asked him for tickets for tonight's game.
Poor guy.
Yeah, so we'll have that coming up with him shortly. A couple of quick things to take care of before we do that. It is Padres and Royals tonight. Seems like kind of a mental letdown after the 7 games we just saw. I mean, let's be, if we could take all the 8 hit by pitches out of the equation, which we can't, but if we did, 6 of the 7 games were just right down to the end. They were great games. The only lousy game was the one the Padres won up there.
Yeah.
11-1. But every other game I thought was great. It was, entertaining. Padres rallied Wednesday night, right? 2 runs in the 9th, got it to the bottom of the 9th. And I would have rather the Padres not done that because I just did not want to see Will Smith walk off the game. That was hard to stomach.
That was really hard to stomach.
Yeah, it was. But,
I turned it off before the ball even went out.
It's like the Dodger fan wrote on the chat. They won. They got 5 out of 7. That's the bottom line is the bottom line. I can't change that. Now,
is it weird I don't care?
Yeah, I care because I want to beat these guys. I don't like losing to them, and I really don't like losing to them now with everything that's going on. And we lost to them, so they get the edge. But it is June. And, I hope we get the edge in August, and then I hope we have a chance to get the edge again in October. Because I know this. Last year, the Padres won the regular season series. Last year, remember, the first time in 13 years, the Padres won the season series. And guess what that meant? A hill of beans. Because in the end, the Dodgers won the playoff.
Someone actually made a good point to me.
That's what matters, right? Ultimately.
The series they beat the Dodgers in the playoffs was a regular season series that they did not fare well against the Dodgers.
No, that year they did terrible in the regular season and then beat them. So, look, there's a lot of baseball to be played.
Ooh, we're going to have to wait a little bit for Mike Schilt's update. His update's not till 4:10 today.
Mike Schilt on the latest? All right, well, if we hear anything before then, on Fernando, we'll let you know. Lineups are certainly not out yet. And I have a feeling today they'll be extra lengthy. Is Jackson Merrill, where's his 7 days at? Tomorrow?
Well, he went on it, I believe, on Sunday.
Yeah, so I don't know if he can come back tomorrow or Sunday. I'm not sure, but it would be good to have him back because I don't know that Fernando plays tonight. I hope he does. But, that looked like a pretty good pop.
Yeah.
Along with all the other stuff. All right. So anyway, the rest of the show, Trenton Brooks here in a few minutes, Jesse Agler in the 3:00 hour. We got obviously Chris versus the fans, Big 5 in the 4:00 hour. We also have our countdown today, which you did not put here. So
I honestly did not know where it was going to go.
Well, we're going to squeeze
so much.
I know. We'll get our countdown in there, but Skraby came up with the topic today.
It was too
and
easy.
He's basing it on Dave Roberts.
Yes.
And it is best, or I guess worst, sports villains. So that's coming up later in the program. I got some good ones for you, Skrabe.
Okay.
I did a little checking, and I got a couple that are going to hit close to home for you.
Okay.
So that's coming up on the countdown a little bit later. One score to update, Major League Baseball. Don't always update these, but Seattle beat the Cubs at Wrigley 9-4 today. Why does this matter? doesn't, except for the fact that Cal Raleigh hit 2 more home runs in this game. He now has 29 on the season. He hit 1 batting right-handed. He hit the other batting left-handed. He has a real chance to break the all-time record this year for most home runs ever by a switch hitter.
Wow.
That record is currently held by none other than Mickey Mantle of 54.
I've heard of him.
You've heard of the Mick, yeah. Raleigh's up to 29. He also is well on his way to being the first catcher ever to hit 50 home runs in a season. No catcher's ever done it. That includes Johnny Bench and whoever else you can name.
Like this is
Mike
a story.
Piazza.
This is a story that is not being covered by Major League Baseball.
Not enough.
Like this guy's 29 home runs, and yet he can't even make the front page.
He also stole his 9th base today. I don't know how many catchers have that many steals. So anyway, Cal Raleigh, he's having quite the year. And he already, with his 2 home runs today, he's the first catcher ever to have this many home runs at the All-Star break. So he's breaking records. And, it's not necessarily a home run happy league anymore, the way it was 10, 12, 15 years ago. Guys are hitting their home runs, but he's leading everybody now. He's ahead of Judge. He's ahead of, you name it. Cal Raleigh is your guy. He's ahead of Shohei. Yeah, he is. All right, so that's that. As far as any other news items that's happened today, not a lot. Not really anything major. We'll get into the NBA thing a little bit later in the show as well. I was going to just say that, Oklahoma City is not as good as everybody said they were, but I've been saying that already for 2 weeks. So that game did not change my opinion last night.
Conspiracy. No one cares about this NBA Finals. They need it to go 7.
So they had to go 7.
They need to pay off for their TV partners.
Yeah, you can say it. I
don't know it's not true.
Well, the final score was like 30 points, right? So did the refs control that game? Come on. 30 points? I mean, the refs might be able to get him a basket or 2, but not 30 points. Please. All right, let's get to our interview. Trenton Brooks, he's a good dude, and he's a San Diegan, and he's made it to the big time. He's waited a long time. Here's our visit with him. And our Friar Friday interview this week. We are really happy to be visiting with Trenton Brooks. We're happy to have him here in San Diego. And you join us, Trenton, on a day where I guess there's a little news involving the Padres. Last night, I don't know, something happened at the game last night. Give us your perspective. I guess probably everybody's asked you already the last 15 hours or so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. First of all, thanks for having me on.
Of course.
To be on here. And, yeah, 2 passionate teams going at it, yeah, a couple balls got away on, both ends. And, it's a fun rivalry to be a part of, and 2 teams that want to win and know each other really well. So, that's kind of how I saw it.
Yeah, baseball is still the same, no matter what level, right? I mean, if somebody hits you with a pitch, it's not a great feeling. So, totally understood it. But it was kind of, I don't know, your first week here with the Padres, and back in the big leagues, and you're kind of right in the middle of the biggest story in baseball, really, the Padres-Dodger rivalry. So that's got to be a lot of fun for you in that regard.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. It's, that was my first time playing at Dodger Stadium, and obviously being a part of a rivalry too. It's, it's super fun. That's why you love the game. That's why you play the game. It was a cool experience.
Talking to Trenton Brooks here on 97.3 The Fan for Friar Friday. And I want to go back to your at-bat at Dodger Stadium, where you hit that 2-run home run when things were not looking up for the Padres in the offense category. But, how do you come in and just make an impact in your first at-bat as a Padre, or one of your first at-bats as a Padre?
Yeah, all glory to God. I feel like he was with me in that box, and it was really cool. It's surreal. It's a blessing to have the opportunity to do that, and yeah, it was fun. It was a good time, and that's definitely probably the best memory of I have playing baseball up to this date. So.
And that includes a lot of glory days at Granite Hills High School. So, don't
Yes,
forget
sir.
about all of that. Take us back to growing up, out there in East County. And did you go to a bunch of games with your family? Did you did you go to a few games here and there? Where did you catch the baseball bug? Was it going out and watching Padres games? Was it on television? Was it just playing with your buddies? What was it?
Yeah, I mean, kind of all of the above. Growing up in Alpine, my dad was a big baseball fan, big Padre fan. So yeah, I mean, I went to some games at Qualcomm. Obviously, watched Tony Gwynn play. That was, at that age, it was awesome. And went to some games at Petco. And when the games were on Channel 4, I used to keep scorebook in my on my couch with my dad watching the game. So it was cool. So absolutely. Watching the Padres kind of helped me, find my love of baseball.
He kept score. You don't know how much that makes me happy. Because I'm from an era.
I do know.
I'm from an era where almost everybody kept score, Skraby. Now very few people keep score. So I'm very excited to hear that. Did your dad and did your family, did they let you stay the entire game? I mean, after all, you lived in Alpine. You might have had school the next day. That's a long ride back home.
Yeah, it's not a short one, but I guarantee I probably talked my dad into it, and he let me stay.
Very good.
I probably stayed through all 9 innings.
We're talking to Trenton Brooks here on Friday 97.3 The Fan, and something that I talk to our listeners and fans about a lot is, why can't this guy be called up and be ready for the major leagues? And meaning going from the minor leagues to the major leagues. Now, what's the biggest difference for you? I know that the pitching is better, but what is the biggest difference that you've noticed going from minor leagues to major leagues?
Clubhouse food is better.
Yeah, I'm sure it is, and the travel accommodations are better too.
Absolutely. I mean, yeah, it's the same game, but it is different. You go from playing in front of 10,000 people to I think there's 54,000 at Dodger Stadium the other day. Being able to slow the game down, understanding it is the same game, but I mean, you mentioned the pitching. I mean, there's obviously a massive difference. You might get a pitching at bat to hit, and you got to do your best not to miss that pitch. So, there's a big difference, but like I said, at the same time, it is the same game. Just trying to slow it down and really just enjoying being there.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, well, we're happy to have you, here up, and we've been hearing about what you been doing, at El Paso, and kept thinking, well, let's get him up here. So we're happy that you're here, and now get to play in front of the home folks tonight, which will be, I'm sure, another really exciting time for you this evening. When was the aha moment that you might have had? Maybe a coach told you, maybe some other players told you, maybe you just felt it yourself, where you got to a point you said, you know what? If everything goes right someday, I could actually make it in this game, to the big league. Because, I mean, we all played growing up, and most of us had the aha moment that we were never going to make it to the major leagues, right? I mean, we finally realized. Me too. I played college ball, and I didn't, but I knew I wasn't going to make that next step. So was there a time that, or somebody that kind of got with you and said, hey, you got a shot here?
I can't really pinpoint what. I kind of just love playing. Like, that was my thing, and I was always pretty good but undersized, and I guess I probably matured later than most players. But obviously I was grateful to get a scholarship to Nevada Reno. I'd probably say like my sophomore year there, I was like, hey, I'm like actually pretty good at this.
Okay.
There's a good chance I get drafted here, so. That might have been like the first one. And then, I struggled through my first 2 years of pro ball. So, once I kind of put together a couple of good years, kind of learned about myself as a hitter and as a player and learned what I'm good at, what I'm not good at, stuff like that. And just try to keep developing every single year and not trying to stop learning, So,
of course. Yeah, for sure.
Kind of just stuck the grind out. I was, I played in the minor leagues for I think 9 years. I think I got called in my 9th year. So just kind of really just sticking to the grind and enjoying every minute at the same time.
You know, I love guys like you because you like you said, you stuck to the grind. You didn't
you're
give
in your
up.
9th year and you're still nowhere.
Yeah, I'm still nowhere.
He's made it.
I'm still in like rookie ball or something like that.
You're still in the minors.
I love when guys stick with it, and when guys, even when it's going bad, they still continue to try. We're talking to Trenton Brooks here on Friday, 97.3 The Fan. Now, this is going to be, I believe, your first start for the first game at home for the Padres tonight. Is there going to be a lot of family in attendance?
Oh yeah, too many to count.
I've always heard that it's really difficult when someone goes back home because you get hit up by everyone that you know to come to the game.
Oh boy, yeah. I mean, my texts are. I mean, I haven't even been able to look at them all.
I bet.
But yeah, I got, you know, a lot of family are they're really cool here. Like, hey, we just bought tickets, didn't want to bother you. I was like, okay, that's great.
That is great.
I know
Well, I think
yeah.
No, that's great. You know, look, I mean, this is what it's all about. And, you know, getting to play in Petco Park when one time you were, you know, sitting there watching games at Petco Park. Yeah, you probably have heard from, you know, the custodian at Granite Hills High School who helped you unstick your locker one day,
yes.
You know, who needs a couple of tickets. But my advice to you is go around the locker room and, you know, ask Manny, see if he's got a couple extra. Fernand, you know, those guys I'm sure.
Don't listen to this jokester.
Yes, listen to me. They might be willing to help him out. This is, hey, I've heard this team is a very welcoming team. Have you not found that coming to San Diego? The guys have been, I'm sure, pretty good to have you there, right?
Yeah, I mean, the vibe in the clubhouse is great. You know, all the older guys, all the veterans, I should say, that have been in this game a long time have been nothing but great. So, yeah, it's definitely very welcoming. It's fun. You know, it's a good time showing up to the field every day. It's a really good vibe, and you can tell why this team's going to win a lot of the games, you know.
For sure. Yeah. Well, we're happy to have you here. It's great to get to meet you and look forward to getting you down there and saying hello. But yeah, enjoy it tonight. Have fun, man. This is a memory. You know, hopefully you get in the ball game tonight and able to contribute and give everybody something to cheer about. Trenton Brooks, very good, sir. Thank you much, and congrats for being up here.
Yeah, thank you so much. God bless you guys, and yeah, looking forward to meeting you guys in person sometime soon.
Will do. There he is, Trenton Brooks. I like, you know, these interviews on Friday. So a lot of times we interview the younger guys that are just excited, you know, like their whole life has been changed.
Yes, it has.
You know?
I honestly, I mean, it's great to talk to Manny and all them, but I like to talk to these guys because they have been fighting.
Right. I love, you know, we want to have Manny too,
Of
but
course.
Manny's going to give you pretty much the thing. I don't have a whole lot of new stuff for Manny at this point. You know,
we've already asked him all the
pretty
questions
much
about
asked
his
him
life.
everything I can think of. Yeah, but no, we like that both. But I do enjoy these guys. He's not even that young, 29. You know, he
said 8 years.
Well, he made his debut
Or 9
last
years.
year. He got in there with the Giants for a little bit last year, 20 at bats or so. But he's a hometown kid, and tonight he's home for the first time. So that's pretty exciting. More Gwynn and Chris. Hour number 2 coming up. Update on Fernando if we get one.
It's country and country.
If you missed the first hour today, man, we were on point. Dodger fans may not agree, but a lot happened. Dodger Padres contest last night. You may have heard. We had many thoughts about it, and now we, await the outcome, which is, will Dave Roberts be suspended for shoving, pushing, laying his hands on? What would you say, Skrabe?
I would say
shove.
I would say it was a push.
You know what it looked like? It looked like Shea Gilgeous-Alexander pushing off a defender to get a jump shot.
Oh, you think he was maybe
it looked about the
inspired
same?
by that?
Yes, it looked very similar, where you kind of don't try to make it look like you're shoving the guy, but you actually do. I think that's a good comparison to what I saw from Dave Roberts last night. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander should not be suspended for that. He should be called for a foul now and again. But they're now through 6 games of the NBA Finals, Skraby. He has not been called for one push-off. Remarkable. Dave Roberts, to this point, there's been no word from Major League Baseball. Buster only tweeted out earlier today that he expected to hear some sort of punishment come down.
Yeah.
But nothing has. If we're hearing it, we'll let you know. And then the other big thing to me at this point, unless you want to just yell back and forth, well, whose fault it was and who started it and all of that stuff. The only other thing that matters right now to me is whether Fernando's, not hurt.
Yeah,
X-rays were negative, but Dr. Mike Schilt correctly said last night, there are a lot of bones in your hand. You could just have the sign, it can be something really tiny that could, I hope, fingers crossed, but that, you can go out for 6 weeks or more. So let's hope that's not the case. All right. So that's that. We gave you the Cal Raleigh thing, 29 homers now after 2 today, setting records for catchers. And we got Jesse Agler joining the show in this hour. Called the game last night, of course, as you know. We haven't had Jesse on, I don't think, this year.
He's popped on once or twice.
You think?
Yeah.
I don't recall it.
I do remember him sitting next to Tony for something, and then he popped on.
Oh,
I think it was made to make fun of Dave Marcus.
He's popped on to make fun of Dave Marcus. Yeah, well, he can't help that. I mean, that's just goes with the territory. Speaking of Tony Gwynn, he had a scheduled day off, so he's out today. If you want to hear what Tony thought about everything that happened last night, just find the YouTube video of his call along with Don Orsillo. Tony's comments were really good last night, and he hit the exact right, tone. Thank you. Between, giving us a Padre emotional perspective, along with telling us, what was really happening going on down there, and some good, solid opinions. So anyway, Tony's there if you want to look that up. And once you're on YouTube, look up Gwynn and Chris or 97.3 The Fan and watch the show, because here we are. All right, Skraby, we're going to do some Daily Gambit now. There is a lot of action tonight and this weekend to discuss.
Do you like money?
I think about money a lot.
Do you like money without doing anything?
Winning.
Do you want to make money while watching sports?
I think Washington is immortal luck.
Washington! Woohoo! If you answered yes, this is your segment. Just don't blame us when you lose.
Nothing is ever your fault.
It's your game. Take it.
Gwynn and Chris go through the top bets of the day in the Daily Gambit on 97.3 The Fan.
Daily Gambit is our daily sports betting segment here on Gwynn and Chris. Please, everybody, gamble responsibly. Can I gripe real quick, Chris?
Yeah.
So our computer here in studio, they had to update it to Windows 11, which means that every single password that we've all had stored in this computer has been removed.
Oh,
and so
goodness.
Every single password that we need to enter ends up having to send a code to Adam. And it's just,
then he has to send the code to you.
and then it's like the code expired here. I have to send another
I know.
code. It's
Yeah.
It's brutal. It's
That's a good gripe.
brutal.
That's a fair gripe. I'm certainly, all for protecting your stuff.
You have to.
Right? Okay, with a password. But the lengths that we have to go now to, the kind of password it has to be, how often we have to change it, all of those
Dual
things.
notification.
Right. Very inconvenient. And I get tired of it.
Yeah, but what? It protects against someone going up on our YouTube, putting up a video of them just saying terrible things, So,
oh, good. Well, we would hate to have that happen.
We would not want that to happen.
All they have to do is come on the chat and say terrible things, and they've been known to do it. So what can we tell you? The password thing is I get frustrated. And doesn't everybody out there say to themselves, I'm going to start writing down every password I have in a little book or somewhere so that I can always look them up? No one actually does it. You forget your password.
No, I use the browser to remember it so that I never have to do it again.
too, but that gets confusing.
It just is I'm trying to do things efficiently over here.
It's a very common problem. And at work, we have every 6 months, we have to change our password, and you can't go back to one you used before. So I'm kind of running out at this point.
You should just put "I hate Dave Roberts" next time and make
I can't do that. I've got to have capital letters. I've got to have numbers. I've got to have exclamation points. I've got to do a lot of things.
You do a 1 for I and a 0 for the O in Roberts.
Why would I put "I hate Dave Roberts"?
Because you can remember it every day. That'd be easy.
No, but what I should put is "You hate Dave Roberts." That's accurate.
I don't hate many
Dave
people,
Roberts,
but he really bothered me last night.
I know he did. Dave Roberts, because of the way he behaved, and correct, that is the description, the way he behaved, he single-handedly has pushed this rivalry to new heights that it had never been before.
Which is a good thing and a bad thing.
The dislike out there now, and I even use the word hatred, is at an all-time high.
All right, let's get into our picks from Wednesday. Nationals.
Yeah, we didn't. We weren't on yesterday, so we didn't do any picks last night.
Nationals played the Rockies on Wednesday, -1.5 on the run line. We both picked the Rockies. The Rockies won 3-1. They ended up losing yesterday, though.
The Rockies are shockingly, though. I think 8-9 this month. I think they have a better record this month than the Padres do. I hate to point that out.
Good for them.
I know. I'm just saying.
Arkansas on Wednesday, -1.5 on the run line over LSU. We both went Arkansas or the Sauce. LSU ended up coming back to win this game.
Did you see how that happened?
6-5. I think it was in the bottom of the ninth.
Well, there was two out and 2 on, and the guy hit a line drive to the left fielder for Arkansas, and he stumbled and fell, and the ball bounced off his head and rolled over into the corner.
I did not see that part.
And 2 runs scored, and LSU, the next guy got a hit, and LSU won. Yeah, it was bad break for the Sauce there.
Off the noggin, huh?
Yeah, that was a tough one. I don't know if it hit his head, but you know what I mean? It caromed way away, and it was like, oh, boy.
Emmett Sheehan, over under 3.5 strikeouts Wednesday night. We both went under. He had 6.
Yeah.
Yankees -1. Angels on the run line. We both went Yankees, and the Angels ended up winning this one.
Finally, the Yankees scored some runs last night.
Yes. Dodgers Padres, over under 9.5 for Wednesday. We both went over, but we were wrong.
Yeah, we missed them all. Right? 7. Yeah, we stunk. For the week,
everybody's giving us Dave Roberts passwords on the chat now.
Oh, it's okay.
I can't even repeat some of them.
Oh, no. All right. Let's just say this week we're both doing poorly. We're both quite a ways under 500 at this moment. Let's see if we can do something about it tonight. Royals at Padres. The game you've circled on your calendar and couldn't wait for. It's finally here. 7.5 runs tonight. Michael Lorenzen's pitching for Kansas City. He has been really bad. Nick Pavetta's pitching for the Padres. Has been really good. I don't know what to pick here. Number 1. Number 2, I'm not going to get to see the game. Because it's a stupid Apple TV game again. God.
Yeah.
Tired of those. Yep. I'll take over. Why not? What do you think?
I'm going to go under.
You got the red-hot Xander Bogarts now. Things are going
great
guns.
What? Poor Xander gets lost in the mix of the fight.
Well, I'm going to say poor Xander. He's certainly not poor. He's got plenty of money.
Okay, that's not what I meant.
I know. But, yeah, the guy had a big game last night.
Huge game.
4 for 4, a homer.
Hit a homer? Come
double.
on.
He was great, but nobody remembers it.
You know what people always say? Well, let's see what he does tomorrow.
And also, let's see what he does.
Why can't we celebrate what he did yesterday?
Right. And how about he did it against, your chief rival in a game You had to win. We keep saying
Had
this,
to win.
but it really is true.
Have a day, Xander Bogaerts.
Attaboy, Xander. Now you can go like, you know what? The fan base will give Xander Bogaerts maybe a 1 at-bat respite. Like if he grounds out in his first at-bat tonight, it'll be, that's
no.
He's terrible.
He gets a game.
No,
A game respite.
They won't give him a game.
5? Come on. He ties the game up on Wednesday. He goes 4 for 4 yesterday.
I know what he should get.
He gets game off.
He's not going to.
He gets a game off from the fans.
If he's 0 for 1 on a ground ball, people are going to go, oh, here we go again.
Oh, yeah. Xander has his bobblehead, the X-Wing thing. So
tonight?
This weekend.
He does?
Yep.
Oh, because it's Star Wars weekend, right?
Yep.
May the 4th be with you.
No, that was
a month
May
and a
the
half
Force
ago.
be with you.
No, may the 4th be with you.
No, that was.
I find your lack of faith disturbing. All right.
There you go.
Dodgers are home to the Nationals tonight. Dodgers are favored by 1.5. What you got?
Nationals are really bad right now.
They've lost. They lost 11 in a row till last night. James Wood hit 2 homers. He's now had 20 on the season.
Okay.
Just to really,
I got into it with someone the other day when people don't understand that James Wood would not have made any difference until this season. I'm going to go with the Nationals. I can't pick the Dodgers.
I'll take the Nats because Mackenzie Gore is pitching tonight.
Oh, that's a good thing too.
Against Clayton Kershaw. The wager here is who has more strikeouts, Gore -1 or Kershaw. Now, Gore leads Major League Baseball in strikeouts, right?
Yes.
Or he's right there. He may be behind. He and Crochet keep going back and forth.
Yeah.
Kershaw's, Kershaw. And the Dodgers don't strike out much in general. So I'm going to surprisingly take Kershaw here. With the 1. I get 1 additional K.
Clayton Kershaw's fake toughness last night really bothered me as well, so I'm going to go with Mackenzie Gore. I'm betting with my entire heart today.
Fake toughness. What did Kershaw
he put
do?
like one leg over the railing like he was ready to go. Clayton Kershaw wouldn't have done anything. Come on.
Maybe Clayton Kershaw, maybe if you ran into Clayton Kershaw one time and gave him an evil eye, maybe he'd just beat the crap out of you. How do you know?
He's a man of God,
from
so
Dallas.
He shouldn't do that.
He's a Texan.
He's
a tall Texan.
Yeah, but he's a man of God. He should not be beating me up for giving him the side eye.
I think you deserve it.
Wow, okay.
The big matchup tonight in baseball is actually not here or in L.A. A lot of baseball eyes tonight will be on the Bay because the Giants are hosting Rafael Devers' former team.
Yes.
Red Sox visit San Francisco. So the question, Devers over under 1.5 hits, RBIs plus runs. 1.5. So an RBI single would give him 2 right there.
He's not going to go 0 for 5. He's going to have something.
He'll do something.
Over. Yeah.
Yeah, he's got to deliver something against his old team.
And then he's got to stare straight at the GM.
Red Sox are taking a lot of heat for the way they handled that. So sorry about that. Who do you like in the game?
Oh, Jack says Devers is going to get thrown at. That would be something. That would be something.
And
Chris.
then Bob Melvin, Boston would throw it down. Then Alex Cora would immediately say, well, it slipped.
Yeah.
We had a young pitcher out there.
Oh, Alex Cora would never do that to Rafael Devers because he's been defending Rafael Devers ever since the trade. He goes, yeah, I did tell Devers to put his glove away for the season.
I think the GM's got to order it to happen to protect his good name. Giants 1.5 over the Red Sox.
Oh, I'm going over. Oh.
I'll take the Bo Sox to get a little revenge on Devers tonight.
I'm going to go Giants.
Gigantes. Tonight we have a good WNBA matchup. Asia Wilson in Las Vegas takes on Skylar Diggins in Seattle. Asia Wilson -6 versus Skylar Diggins. These are 2 all-time greats in the WNBA. Asia Wilson favored by 6 points.
This is sad, but I've never heard of Diggins.
Skylar Diggins, yeah. Notre Dame.
Oh, okay. Now I have.
Skylar, she had another name in there, and I think she got separated, and they took.
Was
that
she the
name.
one who hit the game-winning shot when she was with Notre Dame?
She had some great moments. I don't remember that.
I'm gonna go Diggins.
You've talked about her enough
because of the -6.
Right,
Asia
you get
Wilson.
6 points. I'll still take Asia. She's pretty. You can count on her. All right, Saturday, College World Series starts.
Wait, who did you pick?
I picked Asia Wilson here.
Okay, all right.
-6. Saturday, College World Series, Game 1 in Omaha. LSU favored by 1.5 over Coastal Carolina. The only reason for that is because people, think Coastal Carolina is like a wannabe. The fact of the matter is Coastal Carolina's won 26 games in a row. So I'm certainly going to take them plus a 1.5. How about you?
I'm gonna go LSU.
You're not going with the Chanticleers?
Yeah, Chanticleers, Chris. Get it
Whatever.
right.
Ask the coach how to pronounce
Get
it.
it right.
Game 7 will be Sunday in OKC. The Thunder have been favored by at least 6 points in every game of this NBA Finals. People are trying to say if Indiana wins, it's the biggest upset in sports history. Like, what? My mind is blown by this. This is not the Jets beating the Colts. This is not, I don't know how many major crazy upsets off the top of my head.
The Eagles defeating the Chiefs in last year's Super Bowl.
Even the Giants beating the Patriots
Twice.
on the Manning, the helmet catch.
Yeah, no one.
It's not even Appalachian State beating Michigan. This is people have overrated Oklahoma City. I told you they can still win it. They should. They're at home, but they're not that great. What more do people need to see? Who you taking? OKC -7.5. The final game of the season.
I mean,
Sunday
the
night.
Pacers have to keep it close. I don't know who wins. Don't really care who wins, but I'm gonna say Pacers.
Oh, I'm going with Indy. All right, there we go. We went over our first allotted time. Now we're at our second allotted time.
Now we're good. If we
All
get
right.
out in 8 seconds,
Make it happen, then, sir.
I gotta wait 2.
From the
And so as he comes out and he's yelling at me and staring me down, that bothers me, because to be quite frank, that's the last thing I wanted. I'm taking starters out of the game and, trying to, get this game over and get this kid a couple innings. And so that's why I felt, I took that personal, because I understand the game and know that I understand it doesn't feel good to get hit, but understand, again, intent versus clearly no intent.
Okay, Dave, I buy it. I'm good. Let's move on.
You think that he would have been okay if
I'm just kidding.
You think he would have been okay if someone would have hit Shohei on the hand? He would have been Mike Schilt easily.
Well, he certainly would have been Mike Schilt if it had been the third time in the last couple of days that Shohei got hit.
I understand you pitch Toddy in. That's what they do for some reason.
Yeah, but every other team pitches him in too.
And doesn't hit him.
Look, they put the stat up here earlier today. Fernando Tatis, in the last 600 at-bats against other teams, has been hit 6 times. He's been hit 5 times by the Dodgers in like a week. You can understand why you know what I mean, or the last 7 or 8 games.
Oh, they're playing even the Dave Roberts pushing Andy Green thing on TV. They're making a big deal out of this too.
Well, everybody's making it. This is the number one thing in baseball. This is why this is the best rivalry going. Everybody's into this. Dave Roberts, look, you heard him there. He said, I'm taking starters out of the game. Well, I like, I'm give Bavacqua credit because he tweeted it, but I thought the same thing. Seemed to me he got his starters out of there in the 8th inning because he knew what might be coming in the 9th.
But why not Shohei? That's the weird part. Because he's a DH?
I don't know. He got who he could out. I don't know. They weren't there. Padres couldn't throw at them because they weren't in the game.
Yeah.
Anyway, it doesn't matter. The bottom line is the Padres have to stick up for Tatis. Mike Schilt did what he had to do.
Manny said that they better hope nothing's broken.
Yes, I like those threats, but what's going to happen what's Manny going to do?
Play his best ball next time they match up.
Okay. All right. Well,
that's all I got.
Yeah, I don't know what he's going to do, but you're right. Yeah, he's gave it one of those or else things. We haven't heard anything on Fernando.
I did see a funny tweet
today
that I think it was even from Daniel Jeremiah, who's a huge Padres fan, NFL Network guy. He said the Padres should just slowly roll balls into the Dodgers dugout.
One after another?
Yes.
The Dave Roberts disparaging the character of Manny Machado because of that bothers me more than anything that happened last night.
I can kind of agree with that.
I never got past that one. It wasn't that all he had to say is, I think he was throwing at me or this or that, whatever. But to bring Manny's entire character into question, I thought was really uncalled for on that one.
Yeah, me too.
So Dave Roberts, look, I've been on his side for a while. I actually did, I'm not trying to drop a name here, but it's the only way I can tell you the thing. He and I did a morning show together a couple of times way back in the day.
What?
Yes, over at one of the other stations. I think I was filling in the morning, and Dave Roberts was in the neighborhood, and they had him fill in with me.
Oh, wow.
I liked him.
Wow.
But, I can't.
That's before he was a manager, though.
Right.
Of the hated Dodgers.
Right. And he's hated now. Man, is he ever. Woo. Boy, Dave. All right.
It is kind of fun, though. Like,
I don't
want Tatis to get hurt, obviously.
No, that's the main thing. Like I said, there's 2 things that matter to me moving forward. Will Dave Roberts get, some sort of suspension, slap on the wrist that we can complain about, whatever. And, will Fernando be okay? And we still don't have a Padre lineup. So we don't know for sure. We have a visit with Jesse Agler, the voice of the Padres, coming up when we return. Let's get back on track here, Skraby. Take a quick timeout, and then we'll give you some more Gwynn and Chris. We're here till 5:30 today. Tony had a scheduled day off. Skraby and I roll on.
Ben and Woods on the Fan.
Coming up on Monday.
Hanging with you till about 5:40 today. Spiro's Mediterranean cuisine, Coronado, La Jolla, my all-time favorite. For dining or takeout options, visit spiroscuisine.com. All right, from the stadium, somebody was there last night. Not only were they there last night, they made this call last night when the craziness erupted at Dodger Stadium. And down goes Frazier. Outstanding job by our guest, Jesse Agler. Joins us from Petco Park. Hi, Jesse. How are you? Thanks for that great call that we have already enjoyed listening to a couple of different times today.
Not the usual thing we're describing.
Right, I know.
That whole kind of thing, it can get so chaotic on radio because, on TV, obviously everybody's generally seeing what's happening and you can kind of just sort of, identify guys as necessary. But on radio, theoretically, everybody who's listening to you cannot see the game. So you have to really kind of, go, like you said, Howard Cosell boxing mode and, start trying to describe every little thing that's going on to accurately, explain to somebody in their car what the heck is happening. And it was out of the norm, that's for sure.
Well, hey, look, you know what I say? We're all trained for something like this because you don't expect it. But when it happens, you have to kind of rise to the occasion. I thought you were, totally right on it. You explained it perfectly. And I love how you both reacted at the same moment. Whoa, he just pushed him. Because that escalated it beyond what anybody expected, right?
Oh, no doubt. No doubt. And I mean, that was the thing that happened that I think kind of tipped the whole experience, from, all right, you understand where everybody's coming from to probably a line being crossed. And I would hope, I'm not going to say I expect, but I would hope that is reflected in the punishments that are handed down by Major League Baseball today. I would imagine there are going to be several things doled out, probably learn about them sooner rather than later. But I would hope that if they took a close look and a close listen at what happened last night, that, and I don't want to get too hung up on punishments and suspensions because it is what it is, but I would expect / hope that what Dave Roberts get is more significant than what Mike Schilt gets. One, because of the shove, and then two, quite frankly, there were 2, maybe 3 times when it looked like everything was going to calm down, and then Dave kind of, relit the fuse. And, that upset me in that I just don't think that is what a manager should be doing in that circumstance. Look, if the guy that gets hit by the pitch or the pitcher or even one of the guys that comes in from the bullpen all hot, if he's trying to get at somebody and there's something going on down there, it's not great, but I get it. You're one of the players. But for somebody in a leadership position, be it a manager or a coach, to be the one who kind of keeps something going when it looks like it's dying down, I feel like is highly problematic. I really do.
We're talking to Jesse Agler here on 97.3 The Fan. Yes, Chris, what were you about to say?
Well, he sounds like you. I mean, you said,
I was going to say,
you were all upset about, Dave Roberts' behavior in a leadership role.
Because Shohei Ohtani, the star of the team, tells his dugout, calm down, go back in there, let's not do anything. He turns to the Padres dugout and tries to make some sort of truce. So he is the calm one in the whole thing. And I have to think that Major League Baseball is looking at that aspect of it. I don't know if it's going to add games or anything like that, but it does seem a little weird to me that the manager is the one acting like the kid and Shohei Ohtani is acting like the manager.
Meanwhile, just got news about a suspension.
Oh,
Pittsburgh Pirates pitcher Dennis Santana has gotten 4 games. I remember he went after that fan.
He got us
in the doublehead yesterday. That was a little unkind.
No, that was fun.
But, he's appealing, so he's going to play tonight. But I guess just getting that email 4 minutes ago. They're probably working their way through yesterday, and I guess that happened first. It was a day game.
I guess, yeah. All right. So, Jesse, what this did for me, first of all, it's must see, the next time they play.
Oh, yeah.
It's must, even when they're playing now. What this does for me is it takes the rivalry to another level, and it maybe gets some of the others outside of our general area to start understanding what we already knew. And that is, this is the best rivalry in baseball. And I got to believe that, whether it happened the right way or the wrong way, it's got everybody's attention around baseball. And I kind of like that.
It is the best rivalry in baseball. I don't think there's anybody paying attention to this game who's not, totally brainwashed by their fandom, who doesn't think this is the best rivalry in baseball right now. I'm not saying it was 5 years ago. I'm not saying it will be 5 years from now. But right now, it is unquestionably the best rivalry in baseball. And frankly, it's not even close. It's not even close. And yes, yesterday will make more people aware of that. You guys know I'm a sports media nerd on top of everything else. And I remember when the Dodgers were at Petco last week, we were getting ready to play. I think it was a Monday night, 6:40 Pacific. You had a great pitching matchup, all that. And I just kind of made a comment to somebody on the field before the game. I said, if Major League Baseball was a little bit more forward-thinking, this game would not be played at 6:40 Pacific, and it would be on national television at maybe 5 o'clock Pacific, so that it's on prime time on the East Coast. That's what this rivalry has become. I think it needs to be showcased, in a way that the East Coast gets a little bit more opportunity to see it. And, it's harder to do that, I know, between two West Coast teams, but you see it in the other sports. They'll play a game at a weird time, even on a weekday. Reality is fans would have been here. Game's still going to be sold out. Everybody in town is still going to watch it. Play it a little bit earlier. Get it on, on the East Coast. Let everybody really get a sense of how good it is, because I don't think there's any way, again, if you're paying attention and you're not totally blinded by your own loyalties, if you watch any of the games between those two teams this year, you go, okay, yeah, that's the best thing going in baseball. And I would argue it's been that way for the last couple of years.
Yeah.
But, hopefully now everybody is hip to it. And, obviously when we come back around in August and there's 2 more series out of 3 between the two teams, it'll be a must-see, must-listen baseball.
Yeah, somebody tell Will Smith that it actually pretty good stuff. Jesse Agler's with us, voice of the Padres, and we just had to have him on today because he was there and, the whole thing in L.A. Do you think, Jesse, that moving forward, this is going to be here's what I wanted to ask, actually. Mike Schultz, his coming out of the dugout doing, Mike on a personal level a little bit better than the rest of us. I don't think any of us were surprised that he's never going to back down. He already probably had the love and support of his teammates. Is this something that can give the whole group a little boost, a bit of that togetherness thing, or is all that stuff overrated?
I don't think it's overrated. And, I think anytime, you sort of collectively face some kind of adversity, particularly emotionally driven adversity like we saw yesterday. Yeah, I'm a believer that it brings things together. Now, there was a sabermetric report on this, I don't know, at this point, probably 12, 15 years ago. Somebody went back and they looked at it because that was a thing that was always said in baseball, right? Oh, after a big bench clearing brawl, a team would go on to have great success. And some, Debbie Downer type person went and studied, every bench clearing brawl of the previous 25 years or something. And they determined, no, there's no correlation between, a big fight and winning percentage or, winning X out of Y of your next games. There's nothing to that. But anecdotally, I think any of us who have been around the game, even as fans for any period of time, you recognize that, of course, there's a positive to that. There's a coming together that takes place. It's certainly not going to do any damage, to the cohesiveness of the group. And I will argue 100 times out of 100, yes, it helps. Now, I don't think that's something they needed help with. I think every guy in that clubhouse knows that Mike Schultz has their back. But that was a pretty great way for Mike to be able to express that yesterday in a way that's going to get a lot of attention. And, again, it's a great clubhouse. It really is. I'm not just saying that. These guys were all rowing in the same direction long before anything bubbled up with the Dodgers this year. But, again, can't hurt to have a little bit more of that. And, it's a team bonding thing, as silly as that might sound.
No, it doesn't sound silly at all. I mean, I can totally understand a team bonding. We're talking to Jesse Agler, voice of the Padres here on 97.3 The Fan. I got to stop with the Dave Roberts conversation, and let's focus on Xander Bogaerts for a second. Went 4 for 4 last night. He had a huge hit in the Wednesday night game to tie it up. And I know he's done something with his leg kick and all that, but what have you seen the last couple of days from Xander that's a little bit different?
Well, I mean, he's getting results. Let's start
True,
there. I mean, the frustrating thing for Xander is, I know there was a period, I don't know, call it the last 3.5 weeks. I don't have dates for you, where it seemed like everything was on the ground, right? He's just beating the ball into the ground, and that's frustrating. That's not what he's trying to do. That's not what he wants to do. But earlier this year, even when he wasn't getting results, the batted ball profile was pretty good for Xander Bogaerts, arguably better than it was last year. And so, look, what happens, right? And not to play armchair psychologist, and I haven't talked to Xander about this, but it's just sort of my observation. So you're hitting the ball pretty well, but you're getting very little to show for it. Call it bad luck, call it good defensive positioning, call it, the randomness of baseball. So a guy like Xander, who is a notorious tinkerer, always messing with the swing, always messing with everything. That's how he is. That's how he's gotten to this point. I don't think he's going to stop being that way anytime soon. So he's not getting results. Starts to tinker a little bit. Next thing you know, that batted ball profile isn't as good. Now you've got all those ground balls. You start to spiral a little bit. All right, let's keep tinkering some more. It's going a little bit better now. It's going a little bit worse. You're just trying to find something, anything, to get yourself going again. And then I would say in the last few days, even before the results of the last game and a half, he started hitting the ball harder again. We saw a fly ball in Arizona on the last trip that I think was the farthest ball he'd hit all season. And, so maybe, just maybe, he was starting to figure some things out there. Again, it's not a straight line. It's up and down. It's 2 steps, forward, 1 step back kind of thing. But, yeah, obviously yesterday, 4 for 4 getting those results. And they weren't little dribblers or anything like that. There was some realness there. The big hit the night before, one of the best balls, maybe the best ball that he's hit all season. So, yeah, it would appear in an extremely small sample size that he has found something that's working. Obviously, time will tell, and we'll see how it goes here for him in the days and weeks ahead.
I know you have to prep for the game, but I want to sneak one more quick thing in here, and we appreciate it as always, Jesse. This team moving forward, let's leave the Dodgers behind us, because they are behind us now for the next couple of months. What do we need to do to kind of get back to playing the level we can get to, other than getting a little healthier? What kinds of things are you focusing on? Do we have to wait for a trade, or are there some things that the Padres you've noticed have not been as good at in the last, say, month and a half?
I mean, I don't think any of this is going to be hoeing new ground, but, I do think health is a big part of it. You get Jackson Merrill back. Hopefully Fernando's health is okay. I haven't heard anything new today about, the scan that he was going to undergo. I think Mike Schild is going to talk to us in about 20 minutes. And obviously we'll get a little bit of news coming out of that, hopefully, about that. But health is one. Manny, keep doing what you're doing, because he's been phenomenal all year, having one of the best seasons of his career to this point, and just has been so fun to watch. If Bogaerts gets rolling, certainly that helps. Jake Cronenworth, very quietly, has been outstanding in the last few weeks at the plate. He's not doing it in a loud way, but he's just continually getting on base, helping to be part of, what this offense is when they're at their best, which is passing the baton. There will be, I anticipate, a move here or there that is made. If I hesitate to say this, but there is a part of me that is, as Fernando goes, so goes this offense. And you can put Luis Arraez in that category as well. I hope Luis can bring the numbers up with the batting average a little bit. But it's peaks and valleys all the time. There's no doubt when a team like this that is constructed this way gets superstar production out of their superstars, they are going to be very, very hard to stop, because their superstars are legitimate superstars. When they're not getting superstar production out of their superstars, obviously you got to do it different ways. And they've had some trouble doing that. And I think some of the depth has been a part of that. The injuries, of course, are the reason why. So, I don't think it's any magic pill here. Right. Health is the first thing, and then just getting guys to kind of perform the way they're capable of. And that could be hard in a season. Guys do have bad months. They do have bad halves. We just saw the Diamondbacks. Go look at Corbin Carroll and Eugenio Suarez last year, first half versus second half, and I think Corbin Carroll, let me pull it up actually, because it's a great example, because by the end of last season, Corbin Carroll was, back to being one of the more feared hitters in baseball, but he was miserable at the start of last year.
Yeah.
I have it in my notes from the other day. Or I thought
Your
I
notes
did.
must be much more organized
I would
than my
like.
notes.
I think he should sell his notes. I
You
think
should.
people would buy them just to see
it
what
would.
he
It would
writes
absolutely take me 4.5 hours to find the note that you're probably looking for.
down. He knows.
It's so funny because it's my stuff is very day to day in regards to when we're playing the Diamondbacks, I would have it front and center, but now I'm scrolling a little bit. All right, so last year in the first half, Corbin Carroll hit .212 with 5 home runs.
Wow.
He finished the season with 22 home runs. And you could even, put it a little bit more extreme than that. It was basically middle, late May when he finally got it going a little bit. But he looked absolutely lost for the first, if you want to call it 2.5, 3 months of the season. You could call it the first half of the season. And by the end of the year, he was back to being Corbin Carroll. Now, they missed out on a playoff spot by essentially percentage points. So you go back and be like, man, what if Corbin Carroll would have figured it out a week earlier? Are the Diamondbacks in the playoffs last year? So I'm not saying there isn't a danger to these guys not being at their best right now. But it is the nature of this terrible sport that we all love so much, is that, even the very, very best guys are going to have stretches that can be long stretches, weirdly long stretches, hard to believe long stretches.
No, you're right. Yeah.
In which they don't perform the way we kind of expect them to.
Pete Alonso's already gone from MVP to terrible to MVP and back to terrible in one season.
That's it. And it's going to happen. Eugenio Suarez last year was hitting .203 with 6 homers and 34 RBIs through July 6th last year. July 6th for Eugenio Suarez.
Wow.
And the rest of the way hit .311 with 24 home runs.
Yeah.
So 6 homers through July 6th last year. 24 homers after July 6th. And he brought the batting average up over 100 points. That's Eugenio Suarez, who's a really, really good, dangerous hitter. He ain't Fernando, okay? Yeah. I don't even know if he's Jackson Merrill. So again, it's a weird sport. It does not make sense all the time, no matter how hard we all try to make sense out of it.
One thing we know we're going to get, and that is a really good call from Jesse Agler, who has no slumps, right? He brings it to us
battling through a cold the last couple of weeks. Nice job, Jesse.
Great job last night, man. We're going to play that clip at least 2 more times tonight because I enjoyed it.
Yes.
Have a good week. We'll see you soon. Thank you, sir.
You got it, guys. Have a good weekend.
All right. Jesse Agler there, voice of the Padres. We're lucky to get him on every now and again.
Yes.
We don't want to over,
suspensions.
You got suspensions?
Just as Jesse's getting,
just as he got off the air.
Literally 3:50 p.m. It just came out. Alvin Gonzalez. Suspensions have been handed down by MLB in the wake of last night's Dodger game between blah 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 blah. Robert Suarez 3 games. Mike Schilt 1 game. Dave Roberts 1 game. Suarez will appeal. Roberts and Schilt must serve their suspensions tonight. So Mike Schilt is not going to be the manager tonight.
Not too pleased to think that based on if we say this, people are going to think we're being a homer. But I don't think I'm being a homer.
You're not.
Was
because
Dave Roberts' transgression the same as Mike Schilt's?
No.
In your mind, in anyone's mind?
No.
Other than a diehard Dodger fan who's going to look at it. I don't think that they were the same. They just weren't.
That's Dave. Okay. If you're dealing with the police, the aggressor is the one who goes to jail.
Well, I guess you could say
Dave
that Mike
Roberts
Schilt
is the aggressor.
You could say Mike Schilt started it. He came out.
But Mike Schilt didn't touch him. Dave Roberts was the one who pushed him.
I know.
Like Major League Baseball doesn't.
I don't think this is right.
And if this was the Red Sox and the Yankees we're talking about, I would say the same exact thing about the managers getting the same thing. Like Aaron Boone getting 1 game if he pushed someone, like I would be upset about that too.
Well, I think Dave Roberts should get a game, but I think he should get more if Mike Schilt's going to get a game because I don't think they did the same. This is not the proverbial eye for an eye. One guy shoved the other guy. And secondly, what Jesse said during our interview, which is a very good point, that is that Dave Roberts continued to keep the whole thing going by waving his arms and yelling and screaming every time it looked like it might calm down. So,
all right, I'm getting text that Mike Schilt was assaulted, but he was not assaulted, people. It's not that serious.
I don't even think Don Zimmer was assaulted when Pedro Martinez tossed him to the ground. So I'm certain that Mike Schilt was not assaulted. Yeah, I think we're going to feel some type of way. Everybody in the Padre colors is going to feel some type of way about this. Not to mention Robert Suarez 3 games.
That's a big deal.
That's a big deal because he is your closer. That's different than a starter. 3 or 4 games because then you'd miss one appearance.
We talk about it all the time about how starters getting 5 games means 1 game. Relievers, that takes Robert Suarez out of the weekend.
No, I don't.
Well,
think
he's going to appeal. He's going to appeal. So
I don't think there's any. Yeah, well, that's not going to work. I don't remember the last time they just wiped a suspension out on appeal. All right, well, that gives us something else to be angry about and chat about.
The official
forward.
news release has been sent. I'm going to be reading that in the break.
All right. We'll play some Chris vs. the Fans. We'll have some fun. Take a little break from all of our anguish. But yes, just in. Skraby on top of that. 1 game each for the behavior of Dave Roberts and Mike Schilt. 3 games for Robert Suarez. More on that. 833-288-0973 if you want to go to Las Vegas. Now would be a good time to call on 97.3 The Fan. Lot going on. If you just joined us, Gwynn and Chris, 97.3 The Fan, Tony Gwynn Jr., a scheduled day off. Jesse Agler was just with us moments ago. Earlier, Trenton Brooks, the newest Padre, the rookie, 29-year-old first baseman outfielder from Alpine. Yes, San Diego's own. Trenton Brooks will be playing his first game in a Padre uniform tonight at Petco Park. Our interview with him is up on YouTube. You can find that anytime you like. Also, YouTube, search 97.3 The Fan. You can watch the program.
Wow.
With myself and Mr. Skraby over there.
Nice job.
So all of that as we head into hour number 3. Now, last night, you're aware, there was a bit of a scrap.
A bit.
Padre-Dodger game. We have broken it down every which way, I think. And Major League Baseball, I guess, looked at a video of something other than what we saw. Because I don't know. I don't like to just arbitrarily say something, because then I think people say, wow, of course you're going to say that. You're the Padres station. Padres are paying you. Yes, I wish.
Which is not true.
It's not. But no,
My check comes from Odyssey, by the way.
Yes, I know. You get a check? You get
No.
paid? I didn't even know you got paid. I don't even get paid.
Well,
so you're ahead of me.
You know, I've gone up in the world a little bit. It used to be beans, but now it's money.
You're actually getting money. Okay.
Yes.
Well, I'm still not there yet. But look, I don't think I'm being, one-sided here. How can you tell me Dave Roberts didn't at least appear, from what we saw, do more to negatively impact that situation than Mike Schilt did?
If there's
just don't see. Read the official thing, because I want to hear what
there's a lot of gobbledygook, but I'll read the bottom.
Read the main part, and then understand, if you just tuned in, both Schilt and Dave Roberts today, just minutes ago, were handed down 1-game suspensions. I don't see how they both got the same penalty here. But read what the NBA. Yeah, that'd be funny. Adam Silver recommending these suspensions from the end. No, this is baseball suspension.
Yes. At the bottom of this news release, it says, in addition, both managers, Mike Schilt, Dave Roberts, have received 1-game suspensions and undisclosed fines for unsportsmanlike conduct and for contributing to inciting the benches clearing incident. Schilt and Roberts must serve their respective suspensions tonight.
Yes, they can't appeal, evidently, so Schilt will not be the manager tonight. Dave Roberts will not manage in L.A. Now, before we completely, break this down and apart, and then we're going to play some Chris vs. the Fans, they did say they both received undisclosed monetary fines, right? Maybe Mike Schilt's paying $100 and Dave Roberts paying $100,000. Maybe that's
true. Yeah.
Maybe that's how baseball is separating the two. But at least to us, kind of seems like they're getting the same penalty here, and it doesn't seem like they committed the same transgression. But that's how baseball ruled. Robert Suarez, 3-game suspension. He will appeal that. Now, that is a heavy price to pay for doing what he felt he and the Padres needed to do. Because there's no way you can tell me that on a 3-0 pitch like that, Suarez wasn't intentionally hitting Ohtani, although I don't get it in a lot of ways, because that brought the tying run to the plate. And we've said this all day long, the Padres could not afford to lose that game last night with everything going on.
Oh, yeah.
They had to kind of win that game. Like if the Dodgers scored 6 in the 9th and won 6-5 last night, just imagine where we'd be at feeling today if that had happened.
So they're supposed to speak with Mike Schilt at 4:10. So obviously,
yes, we'll get his
4
thoughts.
minutes away. But
we will hear from Mike Schilt as soon as they can send us the soundbite so that you can play it.
Oh, no, not even the soundbite. I'm ready for a tweet. I need a tweet, and then we can play the soundbite.
Whatever it is, we'll hear it, or, you'll know immediately.
Do you want some good news, though? I guess we need to play the game.
No, how long's the good news?
Darvish. Darvish threw 2 innings and 39 pitches total. He was pleased with it. Next step is going to see how he feels and recovers smart. He faced Trenton Brooks and a few other minor leaguers.
Okay.
Velocity hit 94, 95, 39 pitches total.
Oh, my heart is warmed. All right, let's play some Chris versus the fans now. See if we
That's good news.
It's good news, but the good news is going to be when he's, pitching in a game. Let's play our game now.
If you had one shot, one opportunity to take down the human almanac himself,
howdy do.
Now is your time.
Listen to me, this guy is dangerous.
Now is your opportunity to win a prize.
Well, I hope you know what you're in for.
Chris versus the fans starts now on 97.3 The Fan.
All right, Big Five time is later in the show. Right now, it's Chris versus the fans time. You get a chance to qualify for the grand prize. Spa, pool, getaway, Resorts World, Las Vegas, largest elevated pool on the Strip. You get a 2-night stay at Resorts World. Poolside, one of the 5 unique pool experiences, and you eat. Experience the ultimate relaxation and wellness at Awana Spa, one of the largest co-ed spa facilities. Imagine if you win this and you go tell your wife, hey, we just got this. Like, you might score a point or two there. To book your summer stay, please visit rwlasvegas.com. All right, we're going to do Chris versus the fans. We got our countdown. We got to talk a bunch more about, the suspensions that have been handed out. We'll hear from Mike Schilt. We'll hopefully get an update. I'm sure we'll get some update on Fernando. And
I guess he walked into the clubhouse. He didn't stop. Reporters asked him how he was doing. He said he was good.
He's good. Yeah, well, it doesn't
tell us anything.
What'll tell me that he's good is when they print the lineup out, his name is in it.
Yes.
That will tell me he's good.
That's actually a good point.
And so far, no lineup.
The rules, you have to make it through 3 questions. Each question will get more difficult. If you get the question right, you move on. If you get the question wrong and Chris gets it right, you're eliminated. But if Chris gets it wrong, then you move on to the next question or you win. If you're a first-time player, let us know before you get into it, and you will get the first question for free today.
That's pretty cool.
Yes, it is. Okay. Let's go. Give me a random number, Chris.
6. I haven't even looked at the screen.
Is Dan.
Okay.
Hello, Dan.
Hi, Dan.
Hello. How you gentlemen doing?
Pretty good. You ready to play, Dan?
Ready to go.
All right, here we go. Question number 1. What NFL rookie was caught going 101 miles per hour early the other morning?
He also went 91 miles an hour earlier last week. He's now been caught twice, apparently.
Oh, boy. You stumped me on this one.
Oh, no.
Big name, big news, big name.
5th round.
I don't have anything.
Okay. He doesn't know. He's not a football draft guy.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. Shedeur Sanders. And we'll talk more about this because twice now that he's apparently been speeding way over the speed limit
in a week.
And that's before today, we only had heard of 1 instance. Now we're on 2 for Shedeur.
Oh, that's right. Dennis Santana, the Pirates pitcher, was suspended 4 games for trying to hit a fan last night.
Yeah, he was upset with a fan who he said crossed the line.
Well, the fan did.
Okay.
But he shouldn't have jumped and tried to slap him.
Well, that's why he got a 4-game suspension.
All right. Give me another number.
1.
1. We're going to our guy, Brandon.
Hey, Brandon.
Hello, Brandon.
What up, guys? How are you?
We're good.
Pretty
Thank
good.
You, sir.
Pretty good. Here we go, Brandon. Question number 1. What team won the Stanley Cup a few nights ago?
The Florida Panthers.
Okay, thank you. I was going to say, if Brandon doesn't know this is going to be extremely disappointing. Brandon is a great sports fan. Question number 2.
Ratings for the Stanley Cup Finals were down. Not happy to hear that.
What College World Series team beat Duke to punch their ticket to Omaha?
Was it Coastal Carolina?
It was not.
No, Brandon. No, Murray State beat Duke to get to the World Series. Sorry about that. Murray State got to the World Series that had the,
what?
The unfortunate result of being no hit once they got there.
That is true.
By Arkansas.
That is true.
The sauce.
The sauce, as they say.
And then the sauce had the unfortunate to lose to LSU.
I'm just checking news reports real quick before. Okay.
Right. We're still, we're on this, folks. So
all right,
we'll get it for you the minute it happens. If we get anything on Fernando,
let's go to Augustine.
Yeah, I like that name.
Augustine.
Yes, sir. How you doing?
Oh, we're good,
sir. Are you ready to play?
Thanks for being with us.
Let's go. First time
player. Okay, you get this. You're on to question 2.
All right.
You're one step closer to potentially winning this thing.
Which Pacers player was questionable with a calf injury before Game 6?
Tyrese Halliburton.
There you go.
Hey, he's on to the finals. This is it.
This is it.
Just like that.
This is it. Ooh,
that's Kenny Loggins.
Thank you
on that song.
All right, here we go. Question number 3. Which NFL quarterback threw the most pick sixes in the NFL last year?
Last year?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
2024.
Josh Allen.
Josh Allen. I mean, does throw some picks. Stay there, though.
This is not easy.
No, I don't think that Chris knows this off the top of his head.
Last year, there's probably what would be the most? 3? What's funny too is I thought you were going to ask the all-time leader in this category, and that's Brett Favre.
I knew that.
Okay, but that's not what you asked.
No,
so that's not going to help me.
Nope.
I got to think of a quarterback that threw a couple of picks. Kirk Cousins.
He
seems like a good candidate.
He is
for
a
something
good
like
candidate
this.
for that. Wow.
Augustine, your first time, you are a winner.
Nice job. Stay right there, Augustine.
Very
we'll get
good.
your information.
Very good, Augustine. Stay on the line there. Who was it?
It was Mr. Mayonnaise Man, Will Levis.
I would have never. I can't even name him as a quarterback. You know what I mean?
4.
Yeah,
he threw 4.
Yeah, I wouldn't even know his name. So good for you, Augustine. Though, stay on the line. You win Chris versus the fans today. We'll take a quick break, as it were. We got our countdown.
We got so much we don't even know if we're going to be able to fit it in.
We'll get it all in, Skraby.
Really?
Just trust me.
All
Go
right.
to break and check traffic.
Oh, by the way, it's Huey Lewis, not Kenny Loggins.
This is it?
This is it? Ooh,
Oh, you're okay. You did a different. My this is it is this is it. Make no mistake anymore. This is it. That's Kenny Loggins.
Okay.
That was the song that they used to play at the end of the NCAA basketball tournament every year.
Gotcha.
This is it. So you did a different this is it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Please tell me
I got
now.
you. All right, good. We're on. Okay, we've got to stop singing. We're going to lose the rest of our listeners.
From the
All right, 4:21 is the time. Good job on Augustine there. He's the first-time caller. And he wins Chris vs. the Fans, just like that. That could be you. We'll play again next week, Monday at 4 o'clock. Gwynn and Chris, Chrisello, Tony Gwynn Jr., Idle today, and Mr. Skraby. Baseball, 1-game suspension handed out to Mike Schilt. Same for Dave Roberts. I think we've already discussed how we feel about that. Hopefully Dave Roberts uses his 1 day wisely and goes out and seeks some counseling help. That was a suggestion of one Stephen Woods this morning.
He said he's like a Little League head coach, which is so true.
He needs help. Stephen Woods. I like it, Woodsy.
Not only, and I don't really want to trash his actual character. I'm talking about his baseball character.
Okay.
Not only is Dave Roberts the instigator on a lot of these things, he's also just a flat out liar. Like, he doesn't, even his fans have said that he lies. So
he, like I said, the thing I didn't like anything last night. I didn't like pushing. I also didn't like jumping behind 10 people and then yelling more and trying to get it started again and again and again.
Fake tough guy stuff.
Yeah. Wasn't a fan of that. Not that Dave Roberts, probably couldn't kick my butt if he wanted to, but what he showed me last night was his ability to hide behind other people. All right. There's
no update.
No, so we still don't know about Fernando. Mike Schilt meeting with the media like right now, but nobody has given us any updates, so we'll try to get it for you. We do have the Big Five coming up at the bottom of the hour. Then our countdown. Today's countdown in the 5 o'clock hour, all-time or current sports' worst villains. I mean, I think whoever was at the top of the list is just, right.
I will tell you number one on my list right now.
Norman.
Recency bias. Dave Roberts.
Dave Roberts is number one on your list right now.
Yeah. Recency bias, but Dave Roberts.
Okay. That music made me think of Norman Bates from the movie Psycho. There you go.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Norman was quite the villain.
I hear this follows Dave Roberts around everywhere he goes. Oh, there goes Dave Roberts.
Okay. Skraby, I have to control you somehow, and I can't totally do it.
It's Friday. I woke up at 10 a.m. today, which is something I never do. I feel like this day is fake.
You did not have as crazy of a day night as I did, though. I told you this earlier.
What happened?
Well, we're going to Las Vegas, my wife and I, for the weekend. This is a worthwhile story, so hang with me here, for it's not very long. We're going for the weekend, celebrate my birthday, Saturday night, something only I would want to do. We're going to see Barry Manilow perform in Las Vegas. And so we got tickets, of course, online, like everybody orders their plane tickets that way now. And we went last night to check our tickets, to see what time we had to
maybe.
Yeah, we'll see what time we had to be at the airport, remind, et cetera. And we come to find out that instead of buying a ticket from San Diego to Las Vegas, we bought tickets from Las Vegas to San Diego. And then on Sunday, from San Diego back to Las Vegas. Yeah. So we transposed somehow the tickets. So
now, Lori is one of the most organized human beings on earth.
Man, she's on top of this stuff.
How did this happen?
I don't know. I really don't have a good answer for you. But unfortunately, we now have to rent a car. We're driving to Las Vegas so that we can fly back to San Diego and then fly. No,
that's not too bad.
No, we're not doing that.
Wait, I was going to say you could. I was going to say you should.
Our flight.
They're flip-flop. Doesn't matter anyway.
We're flip-flopped. Yes, our flight from Las Vegas to San Diego is now tomorrow morning.
Oh man.
So yeah, we can't use the flights at all.
Did you get a credit?
We did. I want to give credit. Can I say the airlines?
Yeah.
It's kind of a free thing for them, but I was pretty pleased. Alaska Airlines gave us credit. They didn't give us our money back, but they're giving us credit, which I think was more than they needed to do. So in a world where airlines don't really do much for people, I had to give Alaska a thumbs up there. But now we're going to rent a car because the plane tickets are way too expensive to buy now. So I'll be driving this weekend.
Man,
thanks to that screw up.
Barry Manilow really commands that much money on the planes.
Well, I don't think everybody going to Vegas is going to see him.
No,
there's other reasons to go to Las Vegas for other people.
I don't think so. Okay. Barry Manilow is the only reason to go.
Anyway, that was crazy. I thought I'm shocked that we made that kind of error.
I am too.
We did.
I am too.
Yeah.
It just doesn't seem like a
it seems like
thing.
It seems like even if I made the error, Lori would correct it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Lori's just on. She's on that stuff. But
she is.
Somehow we didn't do it. Game 7 of the NBA Finals will be Sunday at 5:00. It is the first Game 7 in the NBA Finals since 2016. LeBron James was the star of that game as the Cavaliers finished off a comeback to beat the Warriors. That was the same season that the Warriors set the all-time wins record. But Cleveland was able to win Game 7 of the finals on the road. That has only happened 3 other times in the history of the league. One of those occasions was in 1978. The Washington Bullets, now the Wizards, but the Washington Bullets went to Seattle and beat the Sonics in a Game 7 on the road. We mentioned that because now Oklahoma City is the Sonics. The pressure is going to be on OKC. Through no fault of their own, they have been anointed as one of the greatest teams in the history of the league.
You have such a problem with them.
I do. No, not with them. I think they're fine.
So this is like me and the media coverage on Paul Skeens.
The Thunder's a good team. Like I said, they're going to maybe win the title. They just don't belong in the conversation as the greatest, with the greatest ever. And if the Pacers beat them Sunday, that is nowhere near the greatest upset ever. But that's what people are trying to sell us on this series. And I haven't been buying it since the beginning, and I'm certainly not buying it now.
We're not dumb enough to fall for the
banana
ploys.
and the tailpipe.
Yes.
Look, there's been some incredible upsets, teams that have no business winning, but against teams that have no business losing. But I don't think this is one of those situations. Series has been pretty much dead even, really, all the way. Good games, close games, till last night. Greatest team of all time was down by 30 going to the fourth quarter. I don't recall that happening to the Celtic or Bulls dynasties.
Hey, don't try to compare, Chris.
I
the Oklahoma City Thunder are in a new dynasty of their own. Okay?
Yeah, right. But that's who they're trying. All right. Break time, Big Five next. Countdown beyond that. And any news on whether Fernando's playing tonight, We don't know yet.
We will break the
But
news
when
to
we know
you.
it, you'll know it. Stick around. More Gwynn and Chris. program is back on at 4:35. Crisello, Matt Skraby, Odyssey Palace Studios, Tony Gwynn Jr. idle today. Sam Levitt's Padre pregame show an hour away. Skraby, why don't you break the good news, though, to everybody, because this has been something worth sweating over.
Yes. Annie Halbrun tweeted, and every other Padre reporter tweeted.
Okay.
But I like Annie, so I'm going to give her the credit.
Got it.
Mike Schultz said, quote, "The candle worked." Not sure what that means. Fernando Tatis Jr. is sore, but no fractures after more imaging was done today. He is in the lineup today.
Yeah.
We don't know of the lineup yet, but
could be
is
DH
in the lineup.
It could be DH, but he is. We don't have an official lineup, but Mike Schultz said Fernando plays tonight. That is an exhale.
What does
That's
the
all that
candle
is.
work means?
Don't know. Yeah, I'm trying to figure that one out myself.
Mike Schultz got some funny sayings.
Yeah, so that's really good. And so now we've got the answer to the two things we were concerned about. Will Fernando play tonight? Yes. Will Dave Roberts get suspended? Yes, but not as much as we would have liked.
Okay,
because he and Mike Schultz got the same suspension.
I figured out why the candle worked. The chat is just way too smart. Dominic said, Manny said the Dodgers better pray Fernando's okay and they should put a candle out.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Thank you, chat. What would we do without you?
You know what? Never mind. We got
chat's on it. Very good. We appreciate that. So yes, the candle, the vigil, as Manny had it be, the vigil worked. By the way, this hour on Gwynn and Chris brought to you by Crystal Geyser, Alpine Spring Water. What makes Crystal Geyser Alpine Spring Water different? Well, we always bottle our Alpine Spring Water less than 1.5 miles from the spring source. And all of our bottles are made with 50% recycled plastic from our own recycling plants. Crystal Geyser bottled at the spring source. We've got a lot of fun stuff in the Big Five today. I'll tell you who's really happy today. The Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders. You'll find out why right now.
What a creep.
After we check traffic.
What a creep.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is brought to you by the grilling store at Hillcrest Ace Hardware at 10th and University. Just a couple problems to mention here, guys. One of them is a collision on eastbound 8, just past the 805. Looks like that is blocking the fast lane. And in the South Bay, southbound 805, right before the 5, collision involving a couple vehicles. Everything is over to the right shoulder. Traffic is brought to you by the grilling store at Hillcrest Ace Hardware. Purchase a grill this week, and your first cookout is free with 12 burgers and 12 franks, courtesy of Omaha Steaks. That's the grilling store at Hillcrest Ace Hardware at 10th and University. I'm Kelly Danick with Gwynn and Chris, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
It's that time of the show when we check on the latest in sports. Only the most important topics and questions are brought to light.
Stop what you're doing and listen.
These news stories will astound and amaze you. The one, the only.
Oh my God, who the hell cares?
The Big Five starts now on 97.3 The Fan.
All right, let's get into it because we got some juicy topics.
Number 5.
And the first one is going to be about Manny Machado. So Manny Machado said the thing about they better light a candle for him and hope he's okay. Well, Fernando seems to be okay. He's supposed to be in the lineup tonight. But this last couple weeks has shown me a lot about Manny in a good way. And it seems like his leadership has gone to a new level. So, Chris, do you think that Manny Machado has become more of a leader this year?
I don't think more. I think he's been a really good leader the last several years. I mean, is there something that stood out to you that he's...
Yeah, no, just this, this last week, he has been in the umpire's ear. He is always standing up for his team.
He's out in front of the dugout when
all
it's
the
time
time
to have a... Yeah.
I feel like he's actually taken the reins of, okay, this is my team, and I need to be the guy who's going to set the tone. I've seen a little bit more of Manny putting himself in the middle of things, which is a good thing for a team leader to do. Last year with the national stuff he did, and then he hit that home run. Those things are big, and I think that Manny this year has been way more vocal than I've ever seen him, and I love it. I think it's a good thing for this team.
Manny's, because Manny's wealth to this team, right, is beyond his statistics. His value to this team, I should say, is beyond his statistics.
Yeah.
He is the unquestioned leader of the Padres. And I believe, I don't mean to drag him back into it, but I believe when the season went south in 2023, 2 years ago,
yes,
I believe that the Juan Soto versus Manny Machado dynamic helped keep Manny from being the kind of leader he needed to be that year. I've always felt that. I don't have any insight. Just my own feeling.
You know what? You might not be wrong about that because there's one guy still here. And so,
but I think now that, Manny is clearly the guy, no arguments. Solid as a rock. Since we're singing old 70s songs. Go ahead.
I was texting back Sam Levy, who was delivering the news.
Thank you, Sam.
All right, let's go to the next one. But yeah, I love what Manny's doing this year. He's made me become a bigger fan of him, which I already was a huge fan.
He's already Manny Machado. You know that.
U.S. television ratings for the Stanley Cup final rematch between the Florida Panthers and Edmonton Oilers declined from their first matchup a year ago. An average of 2.5 million viewers watched on TNT, with 2.8 million tuning in for the Panthers' series-clinching Game 6 victory. The overall number on cable is down from 4.17 million last year when the final was on the over-the-air TV on ABC, and was the lowest since Tampa Bay versus Montreal in 2021. The share of viewers increased 15% from TNT's first Cup final in 2023 when Vegas defeated Florida. Social media engagements on NHL content were up 32% over the course of the playoffs. So I'm up first. Why is the viewing down? The viewing is down because it's on TNT. There's not as many people who know where it is. When it's on ABC, many people can just go to ABC and find it. That's my reasoning between the 4.17 million on ABC and 2.5 million on TNT. Now, it's interesting to me that the social media engagements on NHL content were up 32%. That means that people are paying attention more, but they're not necessarily watching the game. So you got to figure out how to get people to watch the game. So why do you think the viewing is down, Chris?
I don't know. I probably part of it's TNT. Part of it's that we've been there, done that with Edmonton and Florida already. Last year we saw it. But both series were good. Last year was 7 games. This year was a good 6 with 3 overtime games. But I've just accepted the fact, right? The NHL is always going to be way down the line when it comes to TV viewership. And we don't have the same passion for it. We never will. And, I sell the same thing to the soccer fans, and they don't, but every kid plays soccer. I know they do. But that doesn't translate to, people growing up to care about it as much as you, the diehard soccer fan, does. And I'm a diehard hockey guy, and I've come to the realization that there's not as many of them as I would, kind of wish, because I think the games are great.
You're definitely in the wrong area of the country if you're a big hockey fan.
Well, you are in the area of the country where the champions seem to go, because all of the warm weather teams are winning them now. Las Vegas.
That's true.
Florida twice, Tampa Bay twice. Anaheim won about, maybe 15 years ago. Yeah, it was a while ago now, but you know what I mean.
I do.
Number 3.
Kings won a couple.
So Shedeur Sanders was ticketed earlier this week for going 101 in a 60-mile-an-hour zone. But apparently this is his second ticket in the month of June. And apparently today, as of this morning, both tickets have been paid. Sanders paid $269 in fine and court fees on June 20th, today, to settle his ticket from a June 5th incident. In addition, the quarterback paid $250 in fines and court costs for his June 17th speeding ticket, which also cost him 4 points on his license. That's a big deal. Blah, blah, blah. From NFL... Oh, sorry, I just almost read a promo. Let's see. At David Njoku's celebrity softball game that Shedeur was at, he addressed the media. Quote, I've made some wrong choices. I got to own up to them. I learned from them, and
evidently
that was
not.
Yeah,
I mean, that's a bunch of bull. Don't tell me you learned from it when you get the same ticket 10 days later or less than that. And you're going even faster the second time.
12 days later.
12, okay.
All right,
you know
so
what I mean?
Chris,
you didn't learn anything.
One ticket was 101 in a 60.
Right.
The other ticket was a 91 in a 65. But anyway, a lot of people are talking about this being the difference between him making the team and not making the team. The Browns, do you think he's going to make the team?
Do I think he's going to make an organization that had Deshaun Watson employed as their quarterback? This is child's play compared to that.
That's a really good point.
Child's play, I say. But you know what? I don't want to admit when you're right, because you've been anti-Shedeur Sanders forever. And, you know, if he keeps this kind of stuff, look, you can say kids will be kids and they make mistakes. And he said, I made a mistake, I'm young. But you don't make the same one 12 days ago. You just don't. If you have any comprehension of what, you know, trying to follow the law and being part of, you know, our society and fitting in is all about, you don't go 91, take your ticket, not pay it, and then say you learned something, and then 12 days later go 101. And why doesn't you could help me with this, somebody out there, because I don't know all the traffic laws anymore.
Well, Ohio's different too.
Right, okay. But I mean, can you get a ticket, not pay it, and then get pulled over again and nothing happens to you? And I mean, I believe that if you have outstanding warrants in some states, you go right to jail.
Well,
as soon as they look that up.
You do have time to pay tickets,
Okay.
so maybe he didn't have that time expired.
I'm not trying to, you know, toss him in jail, but I am calling BS on his. I've made some mistakes and I've learned from them. No, you haven't. Pretty clear that you haven't.
This is going
and
to
I think you're Shedeur Sanders, and I'm starting to go a little Skraby on this. And the old, you know, this is the Skraby take, but you know, I'm Shedeur Sanders, and I can pretty much do what I want because I am. I don't care for that.
That's the thing. I
don't care for it.
And I'm going to go in a different direction. I think that Deion Sanders is partly to blame for this.
Okay.
And the reason is because he has two kids. Well, he has three sons, but two sons that are trying to play NFL football. One of the sons owes a janitor from his high school $11 million because he assaulted him in high school and then didn't show up to the court. So they awarded the $11 million to the janitor, and now he won't pay. And then Shedeur is getting tickets 12 days apart from each other. Like, a guy who's supposed to be the leader of men in the Colorado Buffaloes locker room has problems with his own children. So why is Deion not? I don't want to go too far because I don't want to say he's a bad dad because I don't know that or believe that. But there is something to it. Like, why can't your kids get in line when you expect everybody else to get in line? It's very strange to me. I don't know. Am I off base, Chris?
Yeah. You were better before you went there.
Okay.
Let's put it that way.
I mean, you don't think that's a big deal that one of his sons owes someone $11 million after they assaulted them in high school?
What do you want me to say? That's good?
No, I just want you to agree that that's kind of wild.
Yeah.
Number 2.
I'm not one, honestly, once kids are, you know, they're high teens, I think the parents get some of the blame, but I'm a little tired of everything being blamed on parents. And parents blaming their parents, and those parents blaming their parents. Eventually, you have to start taking accountability for your own decisions.
Jake on the chat.
That's what Shedeur needs to do here.
Jake on the chat says something pretty smart. Super irresponsible. Look what happened to Henry Ruggs. At that speed, you can make a mistake you can never go back from.
Don't disagree. How many times have I, you know, gone crazy about these speeding people who don't think about anyone but, you know, trying to reach his fat. Anyway,
I'm going to move on because now I feel uncomfortable. I called out Deion Sanders' fatherhood.
Number 2.
NFL cheerleaders, by and large, don't earn a lot of money. I don't think people know this, but they don't. And the Dallas Cowboys cheer squad will be pocketing a lot more this upcoming season. The cheerleaders disclosed in the latest episode of America's Sweethearts, a Netflix docuseries about the squad, they would receive a 400% raise starting this year. The cheerleaders did not disclose hard numbers about the raise, but nor did they discuss what they were making previously. But in 2018, former cheerleader Erica Wilkins sued the team for unfair pay, saying she received $7 per hour and a flat fee of $200 per game. That case was settled out of court the following year, and hourly wages had not gone up considerably in the years in between, but now they have gone up 400%. Chris, is this deserved? The raise.
How many people do you think come to the game to watch the cheerleaders? What percent?
I'm not there to watch the cheerleaders.
You're damn right it's deserved.
Whoa. What?
We enjoy the game a lot more because of the cheerleaders out there.
I don't even notice the
things.
cheerleaders, to be honest with you.
Well, get with it, will you?
Some teams don't even have cheer squads anymore.
Most teams do. And the bottom line, I don't know. My real answer to this is the Dallas Cowboys are worth $10.6 billion. So giving the cheerleaders a little bump in pay is probably a nice move.
And they're probably getting some money from Netflix that's being pocketed and all of that. Is this deserved? Yes. It's very there's so many jobs out there that people think make a lot of money and they just don't. And you're like, wow, I had no idea that they're getting paid $7 an hour and $200 per game per home game. Game.
Wait, but if you do a little addition there, $7 per hour, $200 per game.
Per home game.
They'd have to go 28 hours to make $200.
No, they're getting paid a flat fee of $200, and then on top of it, they're getting $7 an hour.
Well, yeah.
So say the game's 5 hours, you get $35. What? So you get $235 for a game? It doesn't seem right at all.
Pay the cheerleaders.
Pay all the people that need to be paid. That's all I have to say about that.
Number 1.
All right. There is a video going around the internet of Kelsey Plum, WNBA star,
San Diegan,
talking to it.
I'm glad you're putting her feet to the fire since she, grew up here, went to she's from Poway, went to La Jolla Country Day. Thank you for putting her feet to the fire.
So I should just not bring up news stories because someone...
I don't know. I know where you're going.
I'm not trashing her.
Yeah, you're kind of.
Yeah, you know exactly what I'm doing.
I did. You showed this to me earlier.
All right, so she's walking out of the hotel, and this is an interaction with someone
she's
who's
going
waiting
from the hotel
for...
to the bus,
Yes,
right?
and someone is waiting for an autograph, and it's kind of hard to hear, so I hope everybody
Listen up.
The bus was right here.
Right. Don't you find that kind of weird? Low-key? Low-key, come on.
A little, but
Okay.
I'm
really turned off right now.
I'm just a fan, though.
I know. I appreciate that.
You sign one, you put my name on it. Awesome.
I signed one.
Let's get you on that one.
So she signs the card for the guy, and she signs the other card for the guy.
But before that, she said, "Isn't this kind of weird?
Isn't this kind of weird? I'm
that
turned
you're
off
out
by
here
this.
waiting for me."
Yes.
Okay.
So my question is, Chris.
Yeah. What's your question?
Do you think it's weird that someone stands outside of a bus?
Yes.
I guess I'm first, by the way.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I think it's extremely weird. I think it's extremely weird. But that is probably one of the better places to be if you want autographs because you're not going down their floor. You're not waiting in the lobby. You're waiting in a public area where they're walking towards the bus.
Lobby's a public area.
Lobby is a public area, but I think once you go into the hotel, it changes things a little bit.
I just think people that want to, look, I've walked down by the Padre entrance there where the players
the security guard,
because I used to go that way to get into the stadium when we did the show at the stadium.
And there was always someone waiting there.
Like 6 people with stacks of notebooks and cards.
I get that.
Waiting for Jeff Kent or Manny or whoever. I don't get that. I don't get you people who do that. I don't. And Kelsey Plum doesn't either. And I think she has a right to say, I don't get this. But ultimately, she gave in and said, I'll give you an autograph. She wasn't going to stand there and sign. The guy had like a whole book of her cards. Was she going to stand there and hold the bus up for 15 minutes? You wouldn't like that either.
I don't think that you should be one thing at all. Adam says it's only weird because you guys don't do it. You should see the kids by the players lot. Kids are completely different story than adults.
Yes, but a lot of the kids are there getting the autographs for the adults. You gotta watch it from all ends.
I just think it's weird to kind of wait for people. That's all. Wait for people outside of their hotel for them to walk to the bus.
I don't get it.
We're gonna give you the latest on the Padres when we get back on 97.3 The Fan.
tonight, but to touch on a couple of items from last night. So is there an update on Fernando Tatis Jr. on how he's doing?
Yeah, the candle worked, man. It was good. Lit the candle, and he's sore. Very thankful and grateful that no fractures or anything that showed up on any imaging. He's had multiple imaging. Came back and got in today, and he's sore, but said he wants to go compete.
Is he in the lineup today?
He is in the lineup today.
And that's Mike Schilt. And also it sounded like he was doing that interview from a train station or something.
No, that was the bell that lets people in.
Oh,
to the park.
Okay. I thought Mike Schilt was late for a train. He is suspended tonight. I thought maybe he's, going up to see family or
Just
something.
make sure he doesn't go to the Tijuana bus station like our commercial.
Don't go there
all the time.
All right, 5:01. Final hour, happy hour, as it were. That is happy news to start the happy hour. Fernando is okay. He is in the lineup tonight, although the official lineup has not yet been released to us. Fernando, according to the manager, will be in it, so that's good. The other news is not as, I don't think it's as good. Schilt is suspended for the game tonight as a result of his actions last night against the Dodgers. Dave Roberts is suspended tonight as well for the Dodger game up against Washington. Robert Suarez is facing a 3-game suspension, although he will appeal. He's available tonight and, for until whatever happens with his appeal. The Suarez thing, I think he threw at him. What am I going to say? He said today, by the way, that he did not.
Yeah, he did say that.
But look kind of like he did. But anyway, that's neither here nor there as far as I'm concerned. What is the fact that Dave Roberts and Mike Schilt got the same suspension. And I find that as, hopefully not sounding like a homer, because I don't really believe I am one. But I thought Dave Roberts, he shoved Mike Schilt, pushed him, which I thought was uncalled for. He also kept escalating the situation once it felt like it was going to die down. You had Dave Roberts screaming and yelling again. So anyway, baseball didn't see it that way. Maybe they know something we don't. They also gave both managers fines. So maybe they're giving Dave Roberts a bigger fine, and that's their way. We don't know what the fines are. They're undisclosed. So there you go. You're up to date. The happy hour is brought to you by GL Pools, the swimming pool experts, trusted by thousands of San Diegans since 2006. Baseball's back, and so is swim season. Call now, mention radio. You get a free month of pool service if you do that. Skraby,
yes.
And I have been going back and forth with this whole, what happened last night. And
is it time to turn the page?
Well, yeah. I mean, the suspension's been handed out now. Fernando's okay. We'll pick it back up, August 15th. They're playing again in LA, and everybody's going to show all these highlights again. It's all going to come up over and over, but what we said, I think, stands. And Jesse was on with us earlier, Jesse Agler. This is the best rivalry in the game, and it's now even less up for debate after what happened last night and what happened the last 7 games. And the 7 between the two, the Padres lost 5 of the 7. Hey, Dodgers beat the Padres this time around. And, like I said earlier, last night losing to me was just not an option for the Padres. They had to have that game.
They tried their best to give it away.
And, give it away. They didn't make any errors. I mean,
that's true.
Dodgers got some hits in the last inning there and put the tying runs in position. But fortunately, Matsui got the last out there to record, by the way. That was his first ever save for UK.
Really?
Yeah. Had never had one at the major league level before. Xander Bogaerts being completely forgotten. Except by all the fans out there who don't like him. And the ones who don't like him are being a little quiet today because Xander was 4 for 4 last night with a home run. He also had a game-tying double in his final at-bat Wednesday. So I've said this the whole time with Xander. He's not going anywhere as much as you wish he could. There's nowhere to trade him. The Padres are not giving up on him, and they're not going to just pay him $50 million or whatever it is to go away. So he's the shortstop. So if you don't like him, that's your right. But if you're a Padre fan, seems no reason to do anything else other than root for him to do well. If he does, it's beneficial for the Padres. What he did last night was beneficial for the Padres. Tonight, Nick Pivetta takes the mound against the Kansas City Royals. And Michael Lorenzen, right-hander, starting for the Le Royale. Okay. Look, I mean, it's such a letdown to me. You had the Dodgers, man, 3 games, incredible. 4 games, right? All week, back and forth, nip and tuck, 1-run game, 2-run game, right? 8-7 game, right? Every game was something, right?
Yeah.
And now you play the Royals, and who cares? They just don't.
It's
baseball's fault for doing this.
It is kind of like, oh, yeah, there is a game tonight.
I mean, I'm going to watch, well, actually, I'm not. I'm not going to watch the game tonight because it's on Apple TV Plus, and I'm not going there.
I am going
even though I've subscribed to it. I'm trying to make my point, and I'm sticking with my point.
Okay.
Baseball shouldn't be streamed and difficult for many fans to access.
Well, that's not going to stop them when Apple puts a couple billion in front of them or whatever.
Puts who in front of them?
Apple's like, hey, MLB, we'll take over your broadcast.
I get that. But if every game was on Apple, that's just going to alienate more and more fans. Because I don't believe every fan just has the discretionary $20 a month to give to Apple TV, even if they wanted to watch it.
I don't.
There you go.
I don't want to watch, because the Padres have been on Apple TV a lot lately, but
2 weeks in a row.
I mean, out of 162 games, maybe 5 or 6 are on Apple, and so I have to pay $20 a month to watch 5 or 6 games. I'm not watching the other Apple games.
No, but what if they go off free TV altogether, and the only way you can get it is on Apple TV?
Then I'm just going to listen to the radio till the end of time. I do enjoy radio more than TV. I do.
Theater of the mind.
I'm a radio guy.
Well, radio broadcasts of baseball have always had kind of a special place for me. And now that we once again, after a long string of great ones, from Jerry to Ted to, everybody else who's jumped in there from time to time, having Jesse Agler makes it really good. And, so yeah, listen to the games. Enjoy. It is fun to listen to a ball game now and again still. The game will be on the radio tonight for those who don't feel like finding the game on Apple TV Plus.
And if you're on Apple TV Plus and you don't like the TV announcers, you can click the radio.
With all due respect to the TV announcers on Apple TV Plus, they're not very good compared to
local
Jesse.
Yes.
So you shouldn't even be, that shouldn't even be a question for you. To me, if you go to Apple TV, you listen to the Jesse call because you can. All right.
We're getting some pushback on the autographs.
Yeah, okay.
You can put it on me. You can put it on me.
Look, I was a kid too, all right? So maybe...
I did wait for autographs as a kid, but I've never waited outside someone's hotel.
I just never did. And here's what I'm referring to, okay? I wasn't clear enough. The kid that goes to the game, hangs around for a little while, sees Mike Trout walk by and says, hey, Mr. Trout, can I get an autograph? Love that. But I'm talking about walking into a hotel lobby at 4 a.m. on a road trip and seeing 2 kids there with some parent, and the kid who hasn't slept all night is walking up to an athlete representing the parent to try to get an autograph. That stuff, that's just, I can't deal with that.
That's what we're talking about. We're not talking about respectful people.
And I'll say one last thing. If you're over the age of 30, to me, and you're standing out there in a parking lot or you're standing by a bus and you're there for hours and hours waiting to get one autograph, you're probably doing it so that you can try to sell it and make money. I'm not into that either. I think the whole thing of an autograph is kind of a kid thing. Maybe if you're an adult, you bump into, you're out. You bump into Manny, and you look, the moment looks right, and you have a
Totally
fan
okay.
at home. You know, your kid's a fan. You say, man, my son loves you, and you can get that. That's organic. It's the unorganic autographs that drive me a little nuts. So hopefully that answered some of the people who are angry with me.
Oh, they're more angry with me. They're more
because you brought it up in the first place.
Well, yeah, because I did not think it was. We're talking about Kelsey Plum was caught off guard by a fan waiting for her to go from hotel to bus, and they asked her for an autograph, and she was like, "Don't you think this is kind of weird?" I also think it's part of the territory.
Agreed.
So,
Agreed. But it didn't mean
the WNBA wants all this attention, but they don't. Like,
no, she signed it. She just said that
begrudgingly,
a little begrudging. But I'm with Kelsey on this one. Like, really? You don't have anything better to do than to stand by this bus for an hour and a half to wait for me to walk outside?
But at least, like I said earlier,
seems weird to me.
The person was in a public space, and that person was not
and do what they
infringing on her space or anything like that.
I got an idea to the person waiting by the bus.
Now you're
going to
get people mad at you.
I'm going to get mad at me. I got an idea for the person out there, but next to the bus for an hour and a half. How about using that hour and a half to improve your own life and situation there?
That's too far. That is too far, even for me. That is way too far because
take care of yourself.
What if
Stop
a guy
glomming onto other people?
Okay, so one guy on the chat said, "Hey, I get the autographs because it's the memory of meeting that person, and then I can put it into." That's fine. Tony Gwynn Jr. has told me multiple stories about how guys want to just complete sets so that they can sell it online. I'm not a part of that. Like, an autograph is not is for a memory.
But do you all right, we're going to go on and on about this. Do you need the tangible ink on a piece of paper to help you remember that you met Kelsey Plum? Isn't the fact that you just met her enough?
It's the collection for these people. And I think, Chris, I think we need to take a step back because we do have access to high-level athletes, and so it's not as
well, it's completely frowned upon for any
I
of
would
us
never
to
ask any. No.
So,
but I'm saying, like, we're around those athletes,
right?
Like,
so we don't have the same starstruck feeling as others might.
I'm nervous as heck.
I
to
don't
do anything
mind the
guys.
starstruck feeling if it's an organic thing. It's the let's go sit by this. Let's go sit by this bus for because at some point Kelsey Plum's got to walk out. Not a fan. I'm with you, Kelsey. All right, when we come back, I might be on this list.
We've just dug ourselves both
I know,
a hole.
we're digging deep. I might be on this list. Sports' biggest villains. Our countdown after traffic as we continue on Scrooge and Gwynn.
Scrooge and Skraby.
Yeah, right. Next.
From the
Joseph Musgrove in the building.
Give him a round of applause, everyone.
What's up? It's not a bad setup right here, huh?
No, not at all. Not at all. How you doing, Joe?
I feel great, man. Yeah, really good. Excited.
I heard you say on the stage today, 2 months away from throwing a baseball.
Yeah.
What are those 2 months going to be like for you?
A lot of patience, I've been working really hard, man. Been really diligent with the rehab. The strengthening stuff has all been, right on par. I've kind of hit every checkpoint with ease. And that was something that was told to me early on is like, really give it the time that you need on the front end. You don't throw for 6 months regardless. So, don't try to go out and be a hero and get yourself throwing in 4 months. Just, do all the rehab, hit all the checkpoints, and then, maybe make up some time on the back end, once I'm consistently throwing. So strength feels really good. It's just, getting the shoulder moving again and back in like certain ranges before I start playing catch.
For those who may not know, I don't think it was ever going to be in question whether Joe was going to attack his rehab the way he has already started to attack it. This is one of the most hard-working people I've ever been around. But this is new territory for you.
Yeah.
I mean, you are a guy who I consider well-educated on anything he's about to walk through.
Yeah.
What was your education like leading up to surgery? I know you must have talked to a billion people. You don't leave stones unturned.
Yeah.
What was that like, getting yourself prepared for this surgery?
Yeah, I got a notebook full of pages of conversations, phone calls, doctor visits. I vetted 3-4 different doctor options. Called everybody I knew that had Tommy John. Called guys that had had it twice, and what the difference was the second time around compared to the first. So
This is your first, correct?
My first one, yeah. So I feel like I've done, every bit of the homework that I could. I feel like I was as prepared and as, educated on, the process as possible. And now it's just, putting the, the lessons that I've learned from other people and their experiences along with, the feel and the trust that I have for myself.
We're talking to Joe Musgrove here on 97.3 The Fan. And Joe, last year you called into our show. And
yeah, there we go.
You played a prank on me, and it was a really good prank because my heart stopped a beat for a second, and it still does. But I appreciate you doing that. This is the first time we've actually been able to talk about it.
A little locker room talk. It's all good.
I told him, I told these folks that his eyes almost popped out of his head when Joe got on that phone.
Well, yeah, when I'm told I can't come into the clubhouse, it's a little concerning, considering, I'm not that crazy of a guy, but
no,
anyway.
You're good by us down there. You're welcome
good.
Whenever.
All right. I just wanted to ask you about the mental side of things, because it's got to be hard knowing you're coming into the year you're not going to pitch.
Right.
But you still have to keep working. How do you stay in that zone?
I think, first off, it's a little bit of a relief. It's a chance to kind of step back from, the constant mentality and approach of, like, being on edge and getting ready and prepared and just the stresses that, any ball player deals with on the day-to-day of, like, mechanics feeling out of whack, or as spring gets closer, maybe you haven't hit the checkpoints that you want to hit, or things aren't, as consistent as you like it to be. So not having to deal with those stresses has been super nice. I've been able to focus on life a little bit, got engaged, got a new home, made some moves. So it's been really good. And I think, once I had the surgery, I knew what was ahead of me and, how long the road was. And, it took a little while to get to a good headspace, but I feel like I'm in a great spot now. And, I was saying earlier out on the stage, I'm not claiming to be Superman, but I really believe in my ability to heal and, my ability to, to push my body and get it ready. So I'm preparing and shooting for a return in the postseason at some point. And if, we're a month away from that and I realize it's a long shot, I'm completely fine with, sitting out and, preparing for 26. But I keep myself busy, man. I've really tried to be an extension of the coaching staff and, provide, assistance and help and, experience and, things that help these younger guys and, some of our guys that are transitioning to a starting role, help their careers grow. So, keep myself busy and keeping tasks, to have, at my fingertips, things to work on has been a good relief for me.
Joseph Musgrove in the building.
Give him a round of applause, everyone.
It's not a bad setup right here, huh?
No, not at all. Not at all. How you doing, Joe?
I feel great, man. Yeah, really good. Excited.
I heard you say on the stage today, 2 months away from throwing a baseball.
Yeah.
What are those 2 months going to be like for you?
A lot of patience, I've been working really hard, man. Been really diligent with the rehab. The strengthening stuff has all been, right on par. I've kind of hit every checkpoint with ease. And that was something that was told to me early on is like, really give it the time that you need on the front end. You don't throw for 6 months regardless. So, don't try to go out and be a hero and get yourself throwing in 4 months. Just, do all the rehab, hit all the checkpoints, and then, maybe make up some time on the back end, once I'm consistently throwing. So strength feels really good. It's just, getting the shoulder moving again and back in like certain ranges before I start playing catch.
For those who may not know, I don't think it was ever going to be in question whether Joe was going to attack his rehab the way he has already started to attack it. This is one of the most hard-working people I've ever been around. But this is new territory for you.
Yeah.
I mean, you are a guy who I consider well-educated on anything he's about to walk through.
Yeah.
What was your education like leading up to surgery? I know you must have talked to a billion people. You don't leave stones unturned.
Yeah.
What was that like, getting yourself prepared for this surgery?
Yeah, I got a notebook full of pages of conversations, phone calls, doctor visits. I vetted 3-4 different doctor options. Called everybody I knew that had had Tommy John. Called guys that had had it twice, and what the difference was the second time around compared to the first. So
this is your first, correct?
My first one, yeah. So I feel like I've done every bit of the homework that I could. I feel like I was as prepared and as educated on the process as possible. And now it's just putting the the lessons that I've learned from other people and their experiences along with the feel and the trust that I have for myself.
We're talking to Joe Musgrove here on 97.3 The Fan. And Joe, last year you called into our show. And
yeah, there we go.
You played a prank on me, and it was a really good prank because my heart stopped a beat for a second, and it still does. But I appreciate you doing that. This is the first time we've actually been able to talk about it.
Little locker room talk. It's all good, baby.
I told him, I told these folks that his eyes almost popped out of his head when Joe got on that phone.
Well, yeah, when I'm told I can't come into the clubhouse, it's a little concerning, considering, I'm not that crazy of a guy, but
no,
anyway.
You're good by us down there. You're
okay,
welcome
good.
whenever.
All right. I just wanted to ask you about the mental side of things, because it's got to be hard knowing you're coming into the year you're not going to pitch.
Right.
But you still have to keep working. How do you stay in that zone?
Down, and the Padre bench is hot. Mike Schilt is particularly hot. He is running out of the dugout, pointing at the Dodger dugout. Arise, meanwhile, coming to check on Tatis with Schilt and head athletic trainer Mark Rogo in tow. Now Dave Roberts is coming out of the third base dugout. He and Mike Schilt are going to go face to face, and both benches will empty. Roberts just pushed Schilt. Roberts pushed Schilt. The umpires and some of the coaches trying to get between the two managers. Schilt and Roberts are now up against the backstop.
Yeah, I mean, that's got to be right up there with one of the most fun moments of the season.
Has to be.
I mean, really? I mean, walk-off home runs are a dime a dozen, I must tell you, Skrabe. They happen all the time. A manager pushing another one and basically getting away with it scot-free doesn't happen very often.
Also, no Dodgers pitchers were suspended, which I do find a little strange.
Yeah, it is interesting that 8 different hit batters happened in that series.
But only the Padres pitcher.
Only Robert Suarez got a 3-game suspension for clearly throwing at Shohei Ohtani. I get that, but I'm pretty sure some Dodger pitchers threw at Padre pitchers after warnings were given. They still did it. Nothing happened. But look, never mind woe is me. The bottom line is I felt Schilt and Roberts were not on equal footing in terms of, making that a bigger thing than it was. And Roberts really kept it going and started it with the push, but both got 1-game suspensions. You can take your complaints to Major League Baseball for that.
Yeah.
One thing we do know, Dave Roberts has become villain number 1 in San Diego, which leads us to the finish of today's show and our countdown.
It's now time for Gwynn and Chris to rank their top 5 of the day.
Gonna grip and rip as usual.
But this isn't just a regular top 5 list.
I love it. It sounds sadistic, but I love it.
This is the countdown. And it starts right now on 97.3 The Fan.
All right. Skraby came up with a topic because he really doesn't like Dave Roberts anymore. Today's category, top villains in sports. Now, I thought, just for something a little different, you would do current villains in sports, guys that are active or very close to their playing time. I will do all-time sports villains.
Okay.
Countdowns of the best 5 in that category.
All right.
I got some whoppers in here, Skrabe.
Whoppers, huh?
I do, number 1, and a couple of them are just targeted toward you.
Oh, I love this.
So
there's many honorable mentions, but
yes, I have a lot of
honorable
honorable mentions as well. So let's go top sports villains.
Number 5.
I'm thinking some of this is for the San Diego audience, and some of this is my own personal hatred.
All right,
got you. And my number 5 is going to be Patrick Mahomes. And the reason I say
why didn't you just tell us who you really don't like there?
Patrick Mahomes.
No, not him.
Oh, his wife?
Yeah. Why don't you go with Brittany?
No. I'm gonna leave it.
Brittany's the one that drives you crazy.
We said sports, so I'm gonna leave it to the
she's
field.
Connected.
But Patrick Mahomes whines so much about things. When things don't go his way, he freaks out. He's just always getting the break. He's just really good.
He's always
beat
winning.
my team twice in the Super Bowl.
I will give you one Patrick Mahomes instance that bothered me.
The one where he tried to go the million
when he tried
times?
to go after the referee at the end of the game because they made a call that favored Buffalo.
Yeah. And they're like, dude, He was actually offsides, bro.
Well, first of all, he might have been offsides, but second of all, it just wasn't a good look considering the Chiefs do seem to get a lot of close calls.
Remember when they made up that rule against the Raiders on like Christmas?
They really did. Last Christmas?
Yeah. Or
last year? Or no, was it Thanksgiving?
It was last year. I don't know when it was, but it happened during last year.
No, it was yeah. No, the Chiefs' false started, or the Raiders' fault, whatever. And
they snapped the ball,
and then
the Chiefs fell on it, and they're like, fumble, game over. Like,
my Chiefs win.
Huh?
The referee just basically said, after review, the Chiefs have won. That was basically the review.
I just don't like
what the
Patrick
hell
Mahomes
happened there.
Mainly because he's very good at his sport, and because of some of the whining that he does when he's on the wrong side of things.
Current villain.
He's always on the right side of things.
He is. Current villain. I get one.
I'm sorry.
All right, my all-time number 5 villain is a tie. I couldn't separate these two. They both have ties to your 49ers. They're both all-time villains. You care to guess? They both played for the 49ers, not their whole career, but a good portion of their careers. Do you care to guess who qualifies as an all-time villain that played for the 49ers? See if you can get either of the two.
What eras?
Within the last 25 years.
Really?
Yeah, not going all the way back.
Well, what about he did play for the 49ers, but he wasn't Richard Sherman?
Okay, no, you're not there. Here we are. Number 1, Bill Romanowski. Spit on people, gouge their eyes.
Yeah. J.J. Stokes took a Bill Romanowski loogie to the face.
Yeah, Bill Romanowski was off the chain. And the guy he ties with, he was a guy everyone loved to hate. I think we kind of started laughing a little more along with him at the end.
Jerry Rice?
But for a long time, Terrell Owens was a villain.
I don't know if anybody was laughing with him.
Yeah. At the end, a little bit. We, felt some Terrell fun, but most of it was annoying.
Melvin on the chat. Dave Roberts is the type of guy to park over the line and be too entitled to fix his parking job.
Perfect. Very well done.
Number 4.
Yeah. All right, this guy has it in his name. His nickname is Dylan the Villain.
Yeah, Dylan Brooks got to be up there.
He bothers me, of course, because he does weird things on the court. But like, if you have a nickname that you are a villain, you have to be on.
You got to be on the list. Yeah, perfect.
Yes.
Number 4 for me is a name that you're not going to recognize. I don't think, Skraby, because you're not a hockey guy.
Okay.
But I did have to get one hockey villain on this all-time list, and I think the best guy to represent all hockey villains, because there are many of them, is Ty Domi. Does the name ring a bell at all to you?
No.
Yeah. He was a short little kind of fire plug of a guy, but he would fight anyone and everyone, and that included the fans. He climbed over the plexiglass once. I forget he was with the Rangers or something. He was up actually in the stands going to blows with people. Ty Domi had a couple of loose strings that became unplugged from time to time. Ty was crazy out there. Ty Domi, any hockey fan knows of what I speak.
Real quick, we finally got the lineup, Chris.
Oh, my goodness, at long last.
Fernando batting first, playing right field.
Not even DH.
Not
He's
even
actually
DH.
right in there. Okay, good.
Luis Arraez, second. Manny Machado, third. Gavin Sheets, fourth, playing left field for the 5th straight day, Chris. Xander Bogaerts in the 5th spot. Jake Cronenworth, 6th. Trenton Brooks, DHing. By the way, Trenton Brooks, if you would like to hear the interview with him, go to YouTube, search 97.3 The Fan, or go to 97.3thefansd.com. We have it up for you. And then Diaz and Wade with Pivetta on the mound.
Trenton Brooks, what a great story. From San Diego, 9 years in the minor leagues.
It is a good story.
First game ever in front of his home fans.
Love it.
As he said earlier, he's got every ticket out to everybody. So I really hope he comes through tonight.
I do too. I don't know if I hit this, but
Number 3.
On your 3 or on your 4? It was Domi?
I did Ty Domi, number 4, yes.
My number 3 is someone this is for the Padres fans out there.
Okay.
Jesse Winker.
Oh, good one.
Oh,
yeah. He was hated last year for sure.
So annoying last year when he's like,
not,
everybody needs to stop acting like this is the World Series. And then he himself acts like it's the World Series.
Went and got in an argument with some old guy sitting in the stands after a game.
Yes.
Yeah, no, Jesse Winker, crazy.
Yeah.
And we're not the only team that hates him.
No, I think everybody does.
There's many.
Yes.
Number 3 for me on the all-time villain list is Johnny Mack. Nobody held the candle to the whining and complaining of John McEnroe back in the day.
I was like, who's Johnny Mac?
Nobody ever complained louder, more vociferously, and out of control than John McEnroe. But he got things changed because of his behavior. Back in those days, the tennis people who called the lines and the in and out and stuff, they didn't know what they were doing. Now they finally got it together in that sport. So John takes a lot of credit for that, but he had a funny way of going about it.
So
he had no respect for anyone. He just didn't.
That's really funny. Actually,
So there's some classic highlights of Johnny Mac.
So he was actually right when he was like, you guys don't know what you're doing.
Yeah, he was. He was absolutely right. It's just the way he went about it was not always the best. You got to hurry.
I know.
Number 2.
You're going to love this one, Chris. But this
Okay.
guy is definitely a villain. I cannot stand this person. UConn coach Dan Hurley. One of my
great one.
Thank you.
Wait, you have actually somebody ahead of him?
Well, I already said it. It was
Oh,
Dave
right,
Roberts. I'm
yeah,
going to give
okay.
it away.
You're
Dave
gonna give
Roberts has crossed
Dave
into
Roberts
my
is
most
past-
hated.
Dave Roberts is past Dan Hurley.
Because Dan Hurley is just away, and I
That's
just
a
hear
good
his
one.
comments.
No,
but
Dan
Dave Roberts
Hurley's
is
good.
right here.
Dan Hurley's an excellent choice. He's quite the villain. Not well liked by anybody. Remember last year when was he serenading the crowd at oh no, he held up and he said, "We got 2 rings." Remember?
Yeah.
I'm like, come on.
Everything about that guy.
No, I don't like him at all. Good. Number 2 for me, Dennis Rodman.
Yeah.
Dennis Rodman represents every bad behaving basketball player ever, from Draymond Green to Bill Laimbeer to anyone else you can name that was a little out of control on the basketball court. But I don't think any of mine hold the candle to my number 1 all-time villain.
Number 1.
Dave
You give
Roberts.
yours, Dave Roberts.
We've already
is your
talked about it
local-
all
yeah.
day.
Yeah, you've been all over it. The number 1 villain in sports history, I believe, and I just want to be clear. How much time do we have?
Like 2 minutes.
Okay. I want to be clear. I did not put in the running people that committed crimes. So Aaron Hernandez, O.J. Simpson, Michael Vick.
I didn't either.
I didn't include them. People who cheated, Barry Bonds, Pete Rose, Tom Brady, didn't put them in. Fake sports guys, Vince McMahon. Conor McGregor's not fake, but he's not quite there.
He is a villain.
He's a villain. But I don't think any of them hold a candle to this young lady who not only was the all-time sports villain, but transcended sports to the popular culture. Movies were made about her. She was the all-timer. How could a figure skater commit one of the most notorious crimes in the history of history? Tonya Harding, number 1.
All right.
All-time villain list.
Although the movie I, Tonya is very good, Tonya Harding, that whole thing is crazy.
It's kind of it's totally wacky. Yeah, I Tonya, I think is a fun movie. It's not anywhere near representative of what was really happening in that one.
No.
Yeah, and plus when she would come out and like they'd interview her and she would just be like completely absolving of anything, like of any wrongdoing. Just had no idea why anybody even made a thing out of it. That made everybody hate her even more. Tonya was the champ.
All right. I did not expect that one.
Yeah, I could have gone, a few others, but I thought I'd go Tonya today.
Someone said Floyd Mayweather.
Yeah, there's others. Look, there's a lot of runners up here, but it's our list, and so there you have it.
All right.
Sam Levitt's got the pregame show. More updates from Mike Schilt, but the long and short of it, Fernando's in the lineup tonight, in right field. Mike Schilt is not in the lineup tonight. He's got a 1-game suspension, and Sammy will give it all to you as the Padres play the Royals. Have a good weekend, everybody. We'll see you Monday. We'll have a new NBA champion by then, and Tony will be back. So
Tony will be back.
I'll be a year older also when we come back on Monday.
Happy early birthday, Chris.
Thank you, sir. See you later.